Va.
Come on.
Như vậy thì
Hey folks, how's it going? This is it. Oh, am I echoing again? Oh man, I'm echoing already? That's not good. Anyways, folks, this of course is the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. I of course am the untalented, downed by She-Hulk, permanently got my cherry popped, creator and co-host, humbled by, of the Bleeding Edge. Cyberneticshark, the veteran content creator YouTuber, is my loyal, supportive, and also downed by She-Hulk slightly, co-host. Since all he got, she was really tired after she was done with me. I only said that just because was it you, Joey, or Jasmine said I won't mention She-Hulk during the show? Well, I just did, so there you go. I figured out.
Nah, it's not what I said.
There you go, folks. That's professionality in action. Anyways, folks, we're here for something really fucking special here. Seriously, a special event. The Last of Us series recap review here. Series or whatever special you want to call it. Episode 1 and 2 breakdown, review, recap. And as always, we have a ever-changing, climatic, wonderful, amazing, super group of creators on the panel. They're fucking dope as shit. Just unbelievably professional compared to me. Jermaine, my friend, it's wonderful to see you again on the Bleeding Edge.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Do you really like The Last of Us?
Actually, yes, I do.
Great.
Now, full disclosure, I did not play the game. I didn't know anything about the game, so I don't know anything about that. Just the show itself.
You're not the only one. Jasmine, my friend, did you play the game?
That is a dumb question to ask me.
You played it? I don't know.
Yes, I played it.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm echoing on your end possibly, hon. I don't know why for some reason, but I think I am. Jrent 2000, my friend, you are back.
What's up? How's it going?
What's up? How you doing?
Cool, dude.
You ready to grind, baby? You ready to get after it?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I'm glad to.
All right.
Be in front of a camera. It's been a couple minutes.
Well, hey, you know what? We're just happy to have you back, brother. We miss you.
Thank you.
You're almost as cool as the echo that I'm hearing right now.
Much cooler.
Renee, what up, Loki's Bob?
Hello, how are you? How's everybody?
Oh, well, I mean, I think we're all. Oh shit! I'm not even gonna talk because the echo is driving me crazy. Hold on.
Yeah, but I'm doing really great, and I love the show. I loved the both episodes so far, and have only good things to say about it.
Okay. Does this do anything for my echo?
Sounds a little better.
Better? Excellent. Great. All right. There you go. It's the echo cancellation button. Which, just so you know, folks, you got to turn off when you do reaction videos, or you'll fuck them up like the ones I did with Jasmine. Which Jasmine really appreciates. Anyways, episode 1 of The Last of Us. Cyberneticshark is going to jump in, and he's going to rock out and moderate episode 2. I'm going to go ahead and take episode 1. So let's just start off. We'll go ahead and play the trailer, and then we'll get after it. And yeah, thank you, Cyber. I appreciate you complimenting me on the intro song.
No problemo.
I'll tell you what, Jermaine. That is the one alien species I won't fuck. You feel me?
Alien?
Yeah. It's an inside joke. You remember the show on Trucker's Delight that we did?
That's right.
That's right. You remember my question for you on the show?
No, I don't. It's been over a year, I feel like.
Oh, well, just a little inside joke, folks. When I came on Jermaine's show, Trucker's Delight, to talk about Star Trek, I don't know shit about Star Trek, so I looked like a fool on there. I was just basically a clown. And they told me to bring a question for the review of the I guess the half season of Star Trek we were watching. And my question was, out of these two fucking weird, like, I don't know what the fuck they are, characters on the show or whatever. Which one do you think would be better in bed? And some chick was like, you know those characters are underage, right? And I was like, well, who gives a fuck? There's no fuck laws in space. You know what I'm saying? There ain't none. It's space, bitch. There ain't no statute of limitations on age, sex for age and shit. Anyways, that's another topic for another show. That special will be coming next month.
Okay, R. Kelly.
The rules, the sexual statutes with aliens. We'll have that special coming up.
Well, I don't think these are not aliens, though, Jeff.
No, they're not.
I know, bro. I know. I'm just talking shit, man. I miss my friend, brother. I'm fucking with Jermaine. I miss him. I haven't seen him in a long time. He only likes me once a year. Anyways, folks, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Jrent, my friend. All right, so you had seen the trailer before, right? Until now?
I've seen the trailer before. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did you play the video game?
No, I've never played the video game.
Okay. I never played it either. Let's put it out.
I'm familiar with it. I get stuck on other video games that I play, but this is one game that I just never decided to. I just never decided to play. I don't have time. Never made time to play it.
Me too, man. I mean, when you fuck as much as I do and get as much strange and whatnot, I don't have time for all that.
I can't. I can't.
I know, Jermaine. I know you can, bro. Every time Jermaine comes to the panel, he has an epiphany in his content creation path and everything and whatnot. So, anyways, I'm just Cyber. Did you play the video game?
I did.
Finally.
Excellent. And Renee, did you play the video game, or were you too busy at the porno drive-in?
No. I've never played a video game in my life.
Okay. I just wanted to check.
So wait, there's a porno drive-in? Like, I'm interested now.
Oh, hey, man.
You would be.
I would. Yes, I would be.
We'll talk about it later.
That's okay. I would be too.
When we do
No
our merch,
shade.
when we do our
Yeah,
merch,
yeah.
when we do our merch, we're gonna have a T-shirt. We're gonna have drive-in porno T-shirt.
It's
I mean-
drive-in, Jeff.
I mean,
Porno-
anywhere can be a
Porn.
porno drive-in
drive-in.
if you're brave enough.
Porn. Hey, porn.
This is true.
True.
No O. There's no O. It's porn drive-in.
When
Hey.
Amazon sent me this big ass dry erase board, it's like 4 foot by 5 foot or some shit. It's massive. I saw it. The first thing I thought was, when me and Renee start our porn drive-in project, we could use that as the screen. You know. But anyways, folks, no. So all right. So now that we've established who played the game and did not, Joey, what did you think of the trailer? Did you think that it popped? Did you think it did anything for you?
Yeah, it's got it's got good action in it. You know, it gives you a lot of I guess what the series is going to be. It shows you, the zombie like creatures, and then they try to do like some little bit comic relief with her choking a little bit. I didn't think that part was like really, really funny. The show isn't really funny either. Like when you watch it, you think it's funny?
I
They
thought
ain't
that scene
supposed
was
to be.
funny.
They're trying to die. They're trying not to die.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's not like a lot of comic relief in there. There's like no funny parts. It's a lot of serious. It's a lot of sad too.
I was here for it though.
Right? I chuckled a little bit. I was like, good girl. I like you.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Hey,
I mean,
Shout out
I like
to Abby. I'm sorry, Joey. Shout out to Abby from the second Last of Us game. I don't know. Abby apparently may actually be a digital creator, like person, like a from a
I
video game.
hate Abby from the second game with a passion.
That's why she's here.
I
Anyways,
would drown her in a tub.
so
uh-oh.
Joey, did
No
you
death
feel
by snoo for her.
when you watched episode 1 and 2? Did you feel like the trailer conveyed
Yes.
the feel?
Yes.
Okay.
It was. I believe it was true to the trailer. Episode 1 and 2 was true to the trailer. I mean, you're not getting everything in that trailer in those first 2 episodes because this is kind of opening up from the beginning, which is great. They go into like the talk about viruses as opposed to funguses and the difference, between them. And then if you saw the second episode, they give you another clip of before the outbreak of how it started. And I'm assuming episode 3 is going to give us more of like going back before the outbreak. So I like it. I think the trailer did a good job of giving me what to expect.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Cyber next. We're gonna go bros versus hoes here on this one. Jazz and Renee, just to be clear, as a response to She-Hulk Disney Plus series. So Cyber, my friend, what was your thoughts on the trailer?
It's a good, solid trailer. It's got a lot of good action in it. It showed some decent, sequences that, refer to the game very well. And I thought that it definitely entices you and gets you, draws you in and wants you to watch the show. And most definitely it got me, drawn into it. I mean, after playing the game, the thought of them making this into a TV show or even a movie is very enticing because it's a great story. So I was hands down ready for it the first moment I saw this trailer.
Hey, that's all I needed, brother. I mean, I feel you. And Jermaine, my friend, was this your first time seeing the trailer?
This was my first time seeing the trailer.
Excellent. That's always important to find out, I think. What did you think of it?
I did not like the trailer.
Oh, man.
I think the episodes are so much better than the trailer. Now, I think what I did like was kind of getting a sense of where the story would go. That was nice, but in terms of whether or not it would make me want to watch it, nah.
Okay. Most definitely. I feel you. And I like how you how you worked that, you handled that setup right there and whatnot, where I was like, oh, it's great that you didn't see the trailer. Then you're like, oh, I thought it was garbage. That was great. But either way, now you can talk, Jazzy. What up, sweetie? What'd you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was shit.
Oh,
honestly.
fuck. You just like Jermaine.
Honestly, the trailer shit. It gave me a very basic trailer for any CW show that's on their final season.
I'm telling you, Jasmine, you got some interesting shit all the time, man. Did you craft that earlier today?
Nope.
Okay.
Right on the spot.
Did Jar Jar give you that?
Oh, Jar Jar.
You mean to tell me that Take On Me didn't get you? That didn't pull you in?
No.
Take On Me.
As much as I like the song, the trailer it felt like some basic boy in a basement put that together in like 10 seconds. It was basic. It was just a bunch of random clips from the season rushed.
Find me that
to the beat of the
boy,
song.
I want him working on my shit.
I couldn't hear. I didn't notice the Take On Me part until like 3/4 into the trailer. It was like really low or something. I didn't hear it.
I don't think they played it until that part.
Yeah, and honestly, Joey, to tell you the truth, I like that song. I do, but I didn't feel like it fit the trailer.
Poorly constructed.
Well, in the game that I haven't played, they actually play that song in the game.
Oh, well, hey, you know what, Joey?
Mister, I know the album from the game, but I didn't play it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, in the game.
There you go.
In the game, she actually plays that with a guitar, because she carries a guitar with her.
Which
that's
character?
one of the songs. The girl. Don't even know her name, but the girl.
There you go.
There you go.
That's when you know you're a real pro, folks. When you're moderating the show and your fucking guests know more about the shit than you do. Right? It's great. Anyways, Renee, did you like the trailer? Did you think it was shit?
I mean, it was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. When I first saw it, I think I saw it probably on HBO, watching something else, and you know how it'll come on before whatever you're going to watch. And I actually alerted you about it, Jeff, because I thought it would be a really good. For one thing, Pedro Pascal is the star of it, and of course, we Mandalorian. He's very popular with that, and we actually get to see his whole face the whole time in this series. So that's what piqued my interest as far as the trailer. I mean, standard trailer. I'm not a trailer person. I don't judge trailers one way or the other, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, that's understandable. So you're kind of like Arch Stanton.
I'm sorry, what?
You're kind of like Arch.
Well, I mean, what it's a trailer. All it's doing, it's an advertisement. That's all it is. It's just telling you the show's coming up, and then it's up to me
Yeah.
to decide if I want to look at it or not. You know, I don't judge anything on a trailer. I'll usually give if it's something like I said, because the guy was in it. I mean, Pedro Pascal. That's what piqued my interest. I mean, beyond that, if he hadn't been in it, I wouldn't have paid any attention. But that's what did it. So, as far as that goes, I mean, it got me wanting to see the show, so it was successful.
Okay, excellent. And I'll just say that I thought it was a pretty good trailer. It seemed very riveting, and I thought that it was very well. They made it very clear and very purposeful to differentiate and separate. And you see this in the show too, from The Walking Dead. They did. You could tell that they made a real effort to make sure that nothing connected in that direction. And that was something that I did worry about a little bit going into the series. I was concerned a little bit about that. Just the whole fact that The Walking Dead's been on for like 27 years, right? So, whatever. So basically, at the end of the day, guys, really quick, I didn't mention, I am just really quick going to do just a really quick sort of like paragraph summary based off the game, I guess, just to link the game to the review. And all I'm going to just basically put out there is that essentially what we're going to be working with here, of course, is essentially eventually a post-apocalyptic world. And of course, the character Ellie, who is wonderfully played by the same actress that played Lorena Mormont in the Game of Thrones series. She was the head of House Mormont. Yep, she was that young girl that freaking took down that ogre, that giant in the final battle at Winterfell with the Army of Dead. And she was a badass. I love that chick. Either way. Bottom line, she also the other main character with her also, of course, is Joel. And essentially, bottom line, it's very streamlined. It's very simple. In the first game, what they essentially flush out is simply a story that's based off of, the fact that there is an infection day where there's a pandemic type situation that occurs. And because of that, or due to that, it's based off of, as we all saw in the first episode, a sort of, infection that is based off of fungus. And it is called, if I know how to pronounce it correctly, it's called, I believe,
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps. Okay,
Yeah.
It's called Cordyceps. And essentially, the infection spreads like wildfire. And from there, basically, we end up with this apocalyptic world. There's a 20-year time gap, and the story goes from there. And basically, there is one really positive thing that Cyber pointed out to me about the series, and that's the fact that the maker of the video game, the writer and creator of the video game himself, is a part of the series. He's running the series, Neil Druckmann, along with Craig Mazin, who actually created and directed Chernobyl, the HBO series. So I think that that's a really good sign, right, for the show. I do. And I think it's really nice, really cool of HBO Studios to put them in there like that, right?
Have you seen the show Chernobyl? Has anybody seen it?
I feel bad. No, Renee already told me that I should see it.
It's really good.
Absolutely,
It's really
yeah.
good. It's
I've seen
excellent.
bits and pieces.
Cyber, watch it, man. I think you'll enjoy it. It's good.
Yeah, watch it from the first episode straight through. Don't watch it bits and pieces.
I've never watched anything involving Chernobyl I didn't find interesting. The whole
Yes,
Chernobyl
Loki's mom.
No, the whole Chernobyl deal is interesting as shit. It really is. I watched a documentary one time where they show people that still live there, right? Like it was really cool. Either way, though. So that's basically the gist of it. I mean, at that point, HBO Studios, I mean, they've been wanting to make either a movie or a TV show since they made the game, literally. Even before the game came out. As the minute it became a hit, they've been wanting to produce some kind of film or TV show since. And at one point, I believe even, I believe it was either James Cameron or possibly, what director was it? One big director, one of the big ones, actually was linked to doing a actual major film based off the first game. I guess the only other thing I would mention simply is also that there is a DLC or like an add-on expansion pack coming off the first game called Left Behind that is also an influence and a part of the story of season 1. It's a combination of that end the first game. That is what this story is flushed out on. It's not going to be 100% accurate to the game. A lot of people that love the game are probably going to be pissed. There are characters that are new. They're not in the game. But they did a lot of things also, a lot of cool things to make sure they did get people from the game into the series. So we'll talk about that later. But they're in there. The actress, the character Tess is from the game. She voiced Tess in the game. So bottom line, there you go, folks. I actually managed to make that work in less than 35 minutes.
A lot less than that too.
Yeah, really good.
I know Cyber's shocked. I can tell.
So shocked.
I can tell. He's like, what the fuck's going on here? Did Jeff not smoke crack today?
Did y'all know that cordyceps is real? I mean, that Google ant and cordyceps in Google image and look at it. I mean, it'll freak you out.
Hey, maybe it will cure my permanent erectile dysfunction.
It could.
I've seen pictures of cordyceps before, and I think they're very unique looking, and they're very alien-like. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Joey. Jermaine. That's why I mentioned the alien thing earlier. Right? Cyber gets it. You just don't get it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, the like one of those pseudo theories that fungi are actually alien species that came with whatever meteor.
Meteor.
Yeah, something
Off of a rock.
Yeah.
So that's
Like
what I know, though.
octopus.
It's such an alien. I mean, it's really not like. It's its own unit. It's not an animal. It's not a plant. It's its own, I guess, kingdom or whatever, genus or whatever that is. I don't know the cladids or whatever in biology.
What are their pronouns?
Family.
Do they have what are their pronouns?
It's
pronouns.
its own family. Is that what you're trying to say?
It. Oh, but they don't have male or female. They're just it.
Well, hey, look, at the point that people that we're being expected to actually respect and take seriously people who believe they're trees and shit. You never know. Like maybe next thing will be these fucking fungus people will have rights too, right?
Well,
So
I don't respect people that think they're trees.
well, I do.
I say they should get mental health help.
No, hey, listen, that's their true natural self. Okay.
I mean, I have sympathy for them, but not respect.
You have no idea what it's like to be born a tree, right? And a human body. It's fucked up.
I've known some stumps on a log.
Come on, Jess. Stop giving me dirty looks. You know I'm just bullshitting. Come on.
He really is the lineage of the Treebeard from Lord of the Rings.
I'm sorry, Jazz. I forgot that you actually are very you're very caring and very you're very into the tree people group. So I apologize. I know you have high praise for them and everything, and so I get it.
Oh,
Jermaine, man, listen, brother. What do you only laugh and have a good time when you come on the bleeding edge, or what?
I do laugh a lot. I laugh at people's responses to you. That's the funniest part.
Yeah, I know. I just laugh at my own stupidity and my bullshit. But anyways, either way, so the show starts off very sad, of course. And I hate to say it, but I won't lie to you. On a really serious note for once, like no joke, I'm not even trying to be lightful. Look, I mean, Joel gets his daughter killed from jump almost. And when that happened and occurred, I actually in my head imagined what it would be like for me to experience having my daughter Isabella killed right in front of me. And it literally broke my heart. Like I thought to myself, you know what? I don't think I'd be able to live after that. I don't think I could. So I can't even imagine what it must be for Joel 20 years later to actually have to live with that shit. I just don't know if I'd be able to do it. I could never commit suicide, but I don't know how I'd live.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I just don't know how. I mean, to have to see it right in front of you. I just couldn't imagine.
Oh,
It
just
really-
stand on a roof. I'll help you.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Anyways, but no. So basically, folks, look. This, as far as the opening 35 or 37-minute section before we get into the 20-year time gap, I'm just going to ask one basic question, and you guys can take as much time as you want. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to break it out. I'm not going to break it down. We all watched it. I just want to know, and I'll start with you, Jazz. Ladies first this time, then you, Renee. Just give me your take on what went down throughout that very chaotic, very quick, very fast-paced, right at you opening, where we launched right into essentially what leads to what we end up with that post-apocalyptic wasteland type deal 20 years later.
It was pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the game with some minor details changed. I love that they cast My Mandalorian as Joel. I think that he did an amazing job in the opening with his daughter, who was cast as a mixed-race girl, which her being nosy as fuck was such a mixed-race thing, because I know my black ass ain't going. The dog sitting there trying to get in the house. What's she doing? Let me take you back to your owner. You saw the news. You heard that. But you're going to go help take the dog to the neighbor. And then when the neighbor says run and you slip in blood, you continue to walk into the house. Like, the fuck? Like... It was the one time in any horror scenario I didn't have to say white people. I had to say mixed people. Because, like, that energy, though, like, that energy was so chaotic. Like, the entire episode with her following through her life, she had signs that something was fucked up. But that girl was just like, la, 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 la. Like, what? And then they cast a Hispanic man to play Joel's brother, which was really cool. That to actually have that continue, you know, them to keep that rolling. If you're gonna do the casting, don't like make one of them white and the other one like something else. At least have them both the same. Because if they would have done it like one's white, one's Hispanic, it was giving me very much Fantastic Four back in the 2000s with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba.
What the fuck are you even talking about?
The casting. If they would have cast a white brother for Joel.
Oh, okay.
It would have been very much 2000s Fantastic Four, because Chris Evans is white. Jessica Alba is what? Hispanic. So,
I don't know.
like,
I haven't seen her later, but the last
funny.
time I checked, she's fine as fuck.
Yes, but it's
is.
still funny.
Still is.
The cultural difference is funny. But the girl was just doing too much for me. Like, who goes into someone's house to bring back a dog when the news is telling you, don't go outside?
Jazzy, if you were in that situation and you experienced what the fuck was going on in there, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Grab a knife, grab a hammer, grab a bat, and stay in your fucking room. Turn off your electronics and get some water bottles.
Pretty much.
I would have thought it was a good opportunity to try to find some strange. You know? But that's just me. No, but go ahead, Jazz. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Take your time. What else did you think about? What else did you think about the? What else did you think about the entire? You know, that entire.
I think the fact that they, you know, did the scenic route of them driving and you like being able to see what's going on in the windows was very much like the game, because as the daughter, you get to look and see like the house burning, which they changed the name of the character whose house was burning. And then you see the cars going past the sign and it says hospital this way, town that way. Those little details is really important, especially when you're adapting a game. And what made me so happy was the fact that the airplane that was coming down was something different compared to what happened in the game, which was a ambulance hitting a gas station and exploding. And that's what sent everyone into panic. So that low detail change and watching the plane debris destroy stuff was really cool. It was little details like that that really drove home the desperation and the panic that's going on right now outside of the zombies running around, tearing people up, and, you know, white people running everywhere screaming. And I think someone was looting, I swear. You know somebody's got to be looting. Ain't nobody in that. Nobody during panic is not going to loot. They don't care. It could be zombies.
They're not zombies.
Invasion. They don't care. No, I'm just saying, in general, they don't care. They're just going to loot. Other than that, the scene where the girl died, I cried. Just like I did in the game, I cried. Her acting was superb. She did a really good job at dying. I'm sorry. Some people can't pull it off. Like, you just laugh. But for her, I actually had enough time with her during that short little interlude to actually get to know her as a character and like her. And then, well, other than her dumbass going in the house. But I liked her, and her dying hurt me. So those are little things I enjoyed.
If that had been a cunt-faced Kit from Willow over there dying, would you
Fuck
cry
her.
too?
No,
Okay.
I wanted to drown her episode 1.
I would have cried out of exuberance. But either way. Renee, would you please tell me what you thought of the way that they decided to pace and handle
Go ahead.
that opening segment? And I'm going to go back to you, Jazz. No, Renee, but what did you think of the way that they decided to handle the first episode and decided to break things up the way they did and just kind of give us that jolt right off the bat, that like real quick, fast paced, rat-a-tat type, energy type vibe, and so much going on, so much visually going on at the same time, so much chaos. And then they had that separation, and then they throw us into the 20-year time jump.
Yeah, I mean the whole it actually starts out with that pre sort of 1968 where they're on TV show, and the scientist is sort of explaining what possibility of what these fungi can do and whatnot, and then he gives the example of the very real example of what they do to ants and whatnot. And then of course as you see it, just at first they're kind of laughing it off. Whatnot? Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't ever. And then as he explains, and you can sort of see the audience getting more and more tense. So I think that was a really good setup. And then it goes right into, I guess it's 2003 is when it starts. Very slow paced. It's just every day, going to work, going to school, whatnot. You're not really hearing a lot of stuff in the background as far as maybe there's a news thing here, news there. I'm going to take exception to what Jasmine has said about, because the daughter she wasn't really watching stuff. She had gone over to after school. She had gone over to the neighbor's house, and that's when we sort of start seeing that wonderful scene where she's kind of looking at the videotapes and or the DVDs, and we see the old woman. We don't really see her clearly, but she's clear. She's got horrible look comes on her face. It looks like that horrible scream on a bridge, the silent scream, that famous painting. And we sort of see that, and then that's when things are starting to go bad. But they're not listening to the news, they're not watching TV, so they're not really aware of what's going on. She's getting a little uneasy, but then her dad, she goes to sleep, her dad has to go bail out her uncle. And then that's when she wakes up and the dog alerts her. But at that point, she still doesn't know what's going on. You can clearly see she's freaked out a little bit. But then, I don't know why she went in that house. I don't know. Maybe she has to something. Getting mad at people for doing stuff in movies or whatever. I don't know why people would do that. But anyway.
That's what the crack was.
Yeah.
I just want to cut in on that comment with that. I think they tried to make it when they had her enter that lady's house or the neighbor's house. I think they tried to show you how close she was to the neighbor by, borrowing the DVD, baking the cookies. Can I help you bake the cookies? They were trying to give you that idea that she was close to these neighbors. So the idea is if you're close to somebody and you think that somebody you're close to is in danger, would you not check up on them?
No.
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna tell.
Okay, so this might be a cultural thing.
No.
Guys,
You're gonna tell me your friend, if your friend lived next to you, your buddy, someone that you go over to or you spend time with, is possibly in danger, or you want to check up on them. You're not gonna check up on them.
No.
Okay.
I'm black. No. No, hell no.
No, I'm white, and I certainly would never defend another person's life or whatever and whatnot for any reason. And try to help them or save them or anything like that. I
mean,
don't.
it just shows her ignorance to the situation and her
I
innocence.
want to live.
No, it just,
Okay.
it just shows her it shows not you. I'm talking about the character. It shows the young girl's ignorance to know what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on, but obviously she cares for this lady, so she is
way too much.
No, Joey, I get it. You're making a good point. Jermaine, what were you going to say?
Oh, I guess what I was about to say is perhaps it's a cultural thing. We are taught mind your business. That has nothing to do with you. Stay in your lane. Because if something pops off,
we get blamed.
Exactly. So stay away.
Who's we? Who's we?
Black people.
I thought you and me were we.
Black people, bro. I'm
just
telling you how I was raised.
I'm messing with you, man. It's all right. It's all good. No, Renee, I'm sorry. Continue on. Renee?
Yeah, as I was saying. I'll cut to the chase. I thought it was very Stephen King-like. I thought they really paid attention to how, if you've ever read his books or even watched some of the better made of movies that's been done of his screenplays, it was paced very much like that. So I got that Stephen King vibe. Of course, it's sort of going to be one of that, like The Stand. We sort of feel like it's going to be that. It's going to be a cross-country trip with a kid and yada, yada. And they're going to meet all kinds of different groups of people. And I think we got that, from the trailer, that it's not just going to be running from these zombies or what are these sponge people or mushroom people, whatever you call them. It's going to be other people that alluded to it in the shortwave radio guy. He was telling me, it's all kinds. It's slavers out there. It's all kinds of people that are out there in these communities living out in the hinterland. That's more dangerous or as dangerous as these creatures. So yeah, it really got, and by the end, and when it got into that, I guess we hadn't got to the Boston part yet, but yeah, that whole last where the plane comes down and everything, that great crescendo of just violence and chaos, and we sort of feel like it's coming because the poor child, she's just terrified. She's thinking, well, am I infected? She's thinking, well, I was in that house, I was eating those, those biscuits and whatnot, or those cookies, and I was in that flour, and and that's where the fungus grows, is in the flour and stuff like that. So yeah, she's and then of course it's sort of almost a mercy that she's, because we feel like she probably will turn into one of these creatures, but she won't have to now because her life is ended. And of course I think Joel, it probably couldn't go on after that, but he still has his brother Tommy, and of course we know he and Tommy do survive until the next for 20 years into the future.
No, that's a good point, and I want to just point out also that she's Joel's daughter, and we already know how Joel is. So what else would you expect from Joel's daughter, right? Than to try to help somebody else and whatnot and everything, right? So you have to assume that Joel raised his daughter right. That's why.
That's how I know you haven't played the game.
Jrent made a good point that this was her. They knew each other. They were close. She goes over there every day and either entertains or helps. Talks to the old lady or talks to the mom or whatever. And knows the dog and everything. Of course, the dog runs to her when he's terrified, and it goes to her first. And so I'm not gonna put a racial thing on that. She just wanted to help her friends.
Why was the dog black?
No, it was black and white.
Yes,
it was
I swear it was black, because that dog was like, "Let me in, don't take me there."
Okay,
ran off. It dipped on her so quick.
I didn't know if maybe the dog was gay, or I didn't know. I didn't know. Either way,
dogs trump everything. Gender does not matter to a dog. A hole is a hole.
That's right. I agree. Cyberneticshark. Shark.
Oh my God.
Cyberneticshark, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell me your thoughts on that whole very climatic, very intense scene? And then anything you got to say, bounce off everybody else has already said, and then just what you think again, as I mentioned to Renee, of how they decided to handle the structure, I guess, of the first episode?
So this beginning was really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I love how they made it very similar to the video game. They gave us that 360 kind of view of how they're escaping the city, very much like a video game. And I absolutely loved it. The action was perfect. I thought the CGI work was really well done. I have to agree, that girl that played the daughter, she did an amazing job dying. Most definitely, hands down, she was fantastic. I really enjoyed her character. And I thought that, she did even better justice than, the same character in the video game. And
Parrot.
yeah. And it just was a really well-rounded beginning episode. And I like that they gave homage to the video game itself because, in the end, this is a video game, based TV series. So giving homage to what originally it came from is really key to bringing to life what you made in a video game to the big screen as like a TV series. And that's one thing that I noticed, that sometimes the Resident Evil movies did that. They kind of gave homage, but not as good as this did in this episode, which I thought that they did a really good job with. But yeah, really solid beginning intro to this series. Really great, solid intro to this episode, and it really got you, wanting more and seeing where this goes. And I thought they just did a really fantastic job.
Excellent. Bayron 2000. What do you think? What do you think about that whole? What are your thoughts in general? How do you want to take it, that whole opening segment or whatever? And if you want to get into it all, the decision they made to structure and to put the episode together that way.
Yeah. So I've got just a few things. One of the things, I don't know, you guys remember I Am Legend, right? Remember that movie, I Am Legend?
What is that shit?
No? Okay. Well, it's a similar type of post-apocalyptic, scenario with zombie-like creatures. So they do something similar. They take something from that movie and they do it in here. Do you remember in the beginning with that movie what they did? They had the scientist talking about that they found the cure for cancer. Remember? She was on TV and she's like, we got the breakthrough and this is going to change our future. Right. And that turns out being like how they explain what's going on for the rest of what's to come. So they kind of did the same thing here with this. They introduced you to those scientists like in that retro like space of like talking about fungi and viruses and this is how they gave it to you, like of the difference in what's going to happen. So like, okay, it's not going to be a virus, it's going to be a fungus, and why it can't have a cure, as opposed to it. So they gave you that. I like the subtle like police cars driving by while she's walking to the watch shop. At the watch shop, they got to go. There's things on the news, not really paying attention to it. She just kind of starts asking questions about like, hey, what's going on? Or, you kind of hear things. You just see things in the background. It's not really put up front yet until she goes to sleep and wakes up. Then that's when the whole action starts happening for her in her town. She's in a small town. I think they tried to establish that they're in a small town because the reason why the old lady, the neighbor, had it was because they even tell you, they have to take grandma or they have to take granny to the hospital, which is in town. That's why she got infected. They tell you that. They give that to you, why she's infected. And that's why some of the people in the area are not affected because they're not going into town all the time. I think her character, the daughter, was spot on as far as like with her acting ability, and the fast forwarding it to where she dies, where she gets shot. Me being a father and having two daughters, you put yourself in that scenario. You don't ever want to, but like you imagine like if that was one of your daughters in it. Yeah. Like Jeff said, I don't know how I could live after that. I don't know what I would do. it's just a terrible situation to probably experience. So,
Yeah,
that's tough.
yeah.
That's tough.
I'd be just like Joel, honestly, probably, man, because I have a son. So I mean, I couldn't leave my son. You know what I'm saying?
It's a scenario that no father could imagine themselves being into and not knowing what you could do. So they put a scenario in the show for people to that relate to, and they can, feel like that sadness there in it. You know what I mean? You feel the sadness of when that's happening. And then they do the fast forward. You see that little boy. Everybody, we forgot to mention the little boy that walks through. Remember the little boy? And it looks like he's been bit. You don't know that he's been bit, right? But they do the little scanner on him and it shows red.
Are you talking about in the opening of the 20-year time jump?
Yeah, that's the Boston sequence. Yeah.
And then they check him. He looks fine. He doesn't even look like there's anything wrong with him. But because he checks out that he's been bit, you're like, oh, don't worry, we're just gonna give you some medicine, and everything. And after we give you medicine, we're gonna take you and we're gonna get you some lots of food, hungry, and then you get to relax, and everything's gonna be okay. And at first, you probably think in that scene that everything is gonna be okay, and then you see later on, they're just putting bodies.
That's how She-Hulk fucking got me.
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't know about that, but I don't know anything about that. But I think the first episode started well, and I think it ended well from where they left off. And I like the Depeche Mode song at the end. That song didn't fit in my opinion, but I liked it. I was like, okay, cool.
Depeche Mode's the shit.
Absolutely, I agree. That's
Hell
my
yeah.
take on what I recall that I would bring up.
And I want to again thank you, Joey, for outdoing my job, because I thought that was actually a girl, not a boy. So, thank you.
What happened?
You said it was that's a girl in the woods?
No, it was a boy.
Oh, a boy. I thought it was a girl.
Oh, you thought it was a girl? No, it was a boy.
So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I corrected that for me already. But anyways, but no, I apologize. So Jrent, besides that, was there anything else out of that scene that you took out of that initial segment?
I'm just thinking of the biggest parts of it that gave you like those pivotal moments, the daughter dying, the jump, the kid, they showed no, not really. I mean, you kind of see there's a resistance, there's a dictatorship, in that little area. Nothing other than those key moments mainly from the beginning, and that little parts of this story that's building up. Nothing else for that episode.
Okay.
Me.
Jermaine, and I want to just point out too, just to folks, that look at look at how the military even acts in these situations, right? They don't know what to fucking do. You know what I mean? This shit's chaotic, right? These people are disciplined people, and they're fucking making rash decisions, and they're all over the place. So, but Jermaine, sir, what were your thoughts on that opening segment?
First episode. So I really love the way that at least in my eyes, that particular episode was centered around his daughter. And because I didn't watch the game, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I was falling in love with his daughter. I love the fact that she kind of catered to him. She wanted to make certain that on his birthday, they made pancakes, even though it wasn't something that he liked. It was something that she liked. So it was like, okay, she's got spunk. I liked that. Later, I thought she was stealing something from him, but really she was really trying to fix his watch. Again, she was catering to him. So I was falling in love with her. And towards the end of the episode, I don't want to repeat what everyone has said.
You're talking about Ellie.
His daughter?
No, his daughter.
Oh, you're talking about his daughter? Okay.
Yeah. Towards the end of the episode.
Wait. Oh, no.
You just want the big. Okay.
The beginning.
The
beginning.
first segment.
You mean?
Yeah, the opening segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about what happens at the end?
No. I said what I had to say.
Okay, brother. That's right, brother. And you know what? It was very profound. But no. So at that point, folks, we do get the 20-year time jump. All right. I thought it was really well done. I did. Now, this is just my personal opinion. I think they did a really good job with the way that they laid out this first episode. I think they did a wonderful job. That they structured it the way they did. I think they could have probably done it better. It was a very nice contrast to just have that 20-year time jump and just throw us right into this new world, right? Where you have to imagine things have really changed a lot in the 20 years. And I've done a lot of background research about the game, so I know like what goes down in that time. A lot goes down. But it obviously, I think we all know that, and we all saw that 20-year time jump. Did you lose? You hear me, Cyber? Anyways, no. Basically, you can
Yes,
imagine.
I can hear you.
Okay. No, but I mean, I think that you really, when me personally, when I saw the rest of the episode, I could really tell that they were making a direct effort, the actors as the characters, to display and convey the way they talked and acted and everything, the toll it takes to live in this world for 20 years now after what happened. But either way, so basically the way things start off with the 20-year time jump is just like Joey said. We have the random child alone and taken in, checked for the infection. That they know how to do it. Like they have a device where they're able to actually detect whether or not somebody is infected. How they were able to come up with that is, well, did they have that in the first segment or not only in the second part? The scanner thing for the infection? That
was just that part, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
So yeah.
So yes, it is. I mean, I can see how maybe if someone was confused or didn't understand, how they might not have grasped how dark that scene was, what they were actually doing with that child, that they were actually basically euthanizing her, or him, right? Like, and it was sad. That made me sad. It did. That was what was going on, because at first I didn't get it, and then when she gave him the shot, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, that was pretty intense. And it goes right into basically what life's like now in Boston, in the quarantine zone that is essentially run by Fedra, which is the federal response unit, whatnot to to this pandemic. So basically, right from jump, Joel's doing his job, carrying dead bodies and shit that they're burning and whatnot and everything. Goes to ask for work assignment, like I'll take whatever I can get kind of deal from one of the Fedra people and whatnot. And you sort of get the gist right there of like how things kind of go as you go. He meets a soldier, sells him an Oxycontin pill or two. Soldier pays him with money, like it looked like it was of different currencies. And then also some cigarettes too, like some straight jail shit. You know what I'm saying? As actual money or whatever, or currency. And they do the deal and whatnot and everything. And Joel, of course, mentions to him right there about the truck he wants that he's trying to get. So you kind of know right there already that Joel's hatching something. He's planning something. From there, we meet Tess, who just got the shit beat out of her by some fucking piece of garbage dude that I actually wanted to beat his ass myself, to tell you the truth. During that scene, I did. I was like, yo, I'd like to rock that dude. And she's tough as nails. She's like straight telling the dude, like, yo, it's all good. You beat the shit out of me. Now just leave me the fuck alone so I can go get a drink. She's hard. She's tough as nails. Tess is no joke. I got to give them props for actually deciding to bring her back from the game and have her be in the series. But either way, there's an explosion. It kills the asshole dude. She's shaken, comes out, and right off the bat, I don't know if in the audience right at the bat what's going on, who's fighting, but we get a scene where we have the Fireflies that are essentially not a terrorist group, I guess, but they're essentially a rebellion group. They're against Fedra. Like they want independence, and there's a shootout, and basically they scoop up Tess and kind of beat her ass, and that we go from there, and right off the bat up there. We get into Ellie. She's chained in a room asked to count to 10, where she counts to 8 and then says, fuck you. So you kind of get the gist for her up the bat. She's got some fucking real spunk, Jrent. Ellie's got some cunt spunk. And, you know, from there, asked her for her name. And she's like, it's the same as fucking yesterday and the day before and whatnot, everything. And she's talking all kinds of shit. My people are going to get you, whatever. And, bottom line at that point, Joel's drinking, he's planning, he's looking at maps and shit. He's clearly affected deeply by the loss of his daughter, like almost to this day. It still resonates with him almost daily, I guess. And literally he passes out, I believe, to like the sound of his daughter's cries at death, which was really intense. So Tess pops up and lays in bed with him and actually cuddles him. And so I don't know what their real relationship is. I don't know if it goes beyond that, but they're obviously close. They're close at that point, right? And she knows his pain. She understands what's going on with him. And I'm gonna stop right there. I'll go to you, Jazzy Jazz. Jazz, did you out of those scenes that I talked about right there, that first, I'd say maybe third or so of the second portion of the episode, what did you take out of it?
Well, with the kid dying that showed up in the desert, I figured as much they were going to kill him because of the fact that that's pretty much how most these shows start. They got to kill off, like, whoever's wandering in the middle of nowhere. So, like, when the kid was like, oh, he's infected, I was like, no shit. And when it came to, Joel having to carry the body of the kid and dump it into the fire, at this point, it's pretty much his job, and he can feel the pain, of his own loss when he's doing it. It's just like constant reminders that, even though it's been 20 years, it still feels like a open wound, like it never healed throughout the entire episode. And then you have, damn, I forgot her name already. But what's the name of the girl? Not Ellie. The other one.
Tess,
thank you. Seeing her get beat up is very much like the game, except they basically stayed on that scene longer than it did in the game. And her relationship with Joel, they're fuck buddies. They tried dating back in the day, didn't work out, so the world's kind of shit, so they fuck each other.
What if they're platonic?
They are friends, but they're not like platonic. They fuck. They stick that in the game.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't think about the game, Jazz. I was just wondering, maybe you think everybody just fucks each other.
No.
I'm just playing, I know.
But Tess is tough as nails. Watching her get beat up and just take those lickings and be like, I just want to drink. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I'm not telling Joel. I'm telling Joel. But it was cool just to see her deal with the dude. And it gave us a little bit more depth into their relationship compared to what the game did. The scene is much longer with her and Joel going through the city, kind of like the side mission situation. And they kind of shortened it to, the Fireflies blowing up crap, which ended that scene really quickly with them conveniently blowing up the car and dude limping his tired ass out of there, which was funny seeing the actor who played the ripoff artist, because all I can see is Freddy versus Jason. Anytime I see that actor, that's immediately who I think of. So seeing him in there, I was just like, oh, cool. I like him. The Fireflies had more of a prominent role in this opening scene than they did in the game, because in the game, you know of them, but they're not talked about as frequently. You just kind of know bombs are going off and stuff in the game compared to them straight up saying it's fireflies. And Tess and cuddling him and Ellie having her little moment of fuck you. I love that for her because Ellie, I thought immediately seeing the casting, I immediately was like, that does not look like Ellie, but hell, I'll give her a chance. And she lived up to it. She is Ellie. Like that personality, the quirks, the comebacks, her line delivery is very Ellie from the game. So I loved it. Tess and Joel cuddling was different compared to what you deal with in the game because their relationship is more business oriented. Their dealings when it comes to their relationship are kind of more talked about past tense outside of them just doing jobs for money and car battery and stuff like that. It was cool to see Tess come back because she's the voice actress. It was also cool to see the black lady, the leader of the Fireflies in town, come back because she's also the voice of the character from the video game. So it was just nice to see that they've reached out and brought back characters that otherwise, voice actors that otherwise wouldn't really get that recognition for the roles that they did and show their versatility. Because a lot of the time, voice actors aren't taken as seriously as people who do live action acting, which is sad. But it was really cool to see them show some versatility. Other than that, the opening, that opening little segment of 20 years later is pretty short, pretty cut and dry.
Okay, excellent. Jrent 2000. Was there anything in particular besides, I guess, what Jazz said? Besides, the obvious, I guess, of those scenes right off the bat after the time jump, or even anything about the time jump itself, maybe that you found interesting and whatnot, or what was it that you maybe picked out of it, maybe individually that you noticed or took in?
I know I touched up on a little bit earlier when we were initially just talking about the first scene. Again, just to kind of start off with the little boy, being killed off, because he had showed that he tested positive for being bitten. We go and we see Joel and he's working. He's doing some type of side hustle to save up money. He has this type of scheme to go find his brother in another place. They're looking for a battery, a car battery, because those are hard to come by. Is what they let you know that basic things are they're hard to come by, and so they have to save up money and make trades. The girl, they have her chained up. They introduce her with her being chained up, and then you find out why. They tell you like that, they lead you to know that she's possibly the cure for it. They give you that information like right up front as well in the beginning of this, this part of it. They talk about, what, because they couldn't make this trade happen for the battery. They ran up making a deal with this group. Was it the fire? What is it called? The Fireflies. They make a deal with them to take her to a specific destination, in return for whatever they need, so that way they can make this trip. And I liked her character. A scene that I really makes a lot of sense is when they get out of that fence at the end, and that guard, the one that he happens to know, or that he does.
Joey, come on, man! You were okay until you went to the guard of the fence.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm always staying specific. Am I going off into too much into the?
No, man. You're just going a little bit farther than I wanted to go. But it's
Sorry.
okay.
Okay. Oh well, then I'll stop. I'll stop at the fence.
That's okay.
No. I'll stop at the fence. A lot of this part of the scenes for me was a lot of just gathering information of story, and I was okay with it. I was watching. I was in tune to what's going on, but nothing like really popped out for me, and like from that part all the way up until the fence. So I guess I could just leave it there because the rest of it's just information. It tells you, it's giving you the story of like what he's been doing, what they want to do, what's her place in the story, and then we know they are going out of this place. They're telling you already in that small part before the gate what they're doing. So
okay. No, I think you're right. You're right. They are just basically giving us the lay of the land, right? Right off the bat, to kind of like, for people that didn't play the game or know the game, they're just kind of giving us the basics. Jermaine, my friend, what did you think of the time jump? What did you think? You watched House of the Dragon. You experienced those massive time jumps in that series. That shit was crazy. What did you think of the time jump and whatnot and everything? Did it do anything for you? Did you find it interesting? And then, what was your take on these scenes, in that first third of that second part of the episode?
Did it do anything for me? No. I mean, but
in terms of the contrast.
Nah, I mean, honestly, it could have been a year later and I would have accepted it either way it went. It was good to know that, not good to know, but what was clear to me was that the death of his daughter is still haunting him all these years later.
How is it not?
Well, not that it's not, but it's a major it's a major part of his decision making.
No, I get you. No, my point is just that, look, if there's a guy out there right now listening to this, if your daughter dies in front of you like that and whatnot, and you don't even give a fuck 20 years later, then dude, I don't even want to know you, motherfucker. Like, we ain't good. You feel me? I don't want to rock with you. But no, Jermaine, no, all I meant in terms of the 20-year time gap was, did you take in or notice that they made an effort for you to try to display to you the toll it takes on them probably to have those 20 years of this new world to live in? In terms of like how, in terms of the gruffness of them, like how sort of like, tough and rough shit is.
So it was a dog eat dog world, basically. And that was to be expected.
Most definitely. And what did you think of Ellie's shitty attitude?
It's a dog eat dog world.
And
like, how could you not, grow up in that situation and be a little rough around the edges?
So if she was your daughter, you were raising her, it'd be bliss for you living with her on a daily basis.
Nah, it would be hard. Like we'd be well, under those circumstances, I think that she was about what you should expect.
Okay. All right. I get you. No, I do. I understand what you're saying. And again, we haven't even talked about really her background before what we see her. Well, we will eventually. Cyber, my friend. What was there anything that anybody hasn't pointed out? Is there anything maybe that you feel is important that you took out of those scenes or whatever? Or anything about the time jump? Anything about the again, the way that they tried to give us what they did in terms of trying to show us, I guess, the toll, right?
I mean, in all honesty, it was once again great sequences, great scenes. I enjoyed them. I thought they, took the, episode to a new level. I really enjoyed it. Thought they did a really good job. I appreciated, that whole sequence. It gave you a good idea of what was going on, especially with the boy that comes in, he tests positive for the virus and, they euthanize him. Yes, most definitely. I get that. That it's a part of that life now, that time jump, which I knew was coming because that's just what happens in the game. Unfortunately, in the game, they don't start in 2003. It's actually 2013 they started.
Yeah.
But But in the whole grand scheme of it, time jumping, it would be a common thought process for this type of zombie apocalypse type of deal, because you're going to have to go years where you're dealing with this situation. You've gotten to a point where you seem like there's no end to this and there's no hope, and so that's just apocalypse type feature. So I definitely knew that was going to happen, and I enjoyed it. That what makes apocalypse types of shows, movies, TVs, stuff very enjoyable, because there is that time jump. There's a lot that has gone on that you don't see, and you can't kind of just get bits and pieces from what survivors have said. And I think that was a good idea, because now it's been 20 years since, unfortunately his daughter has died, the main character himself, Joel. And so I thought that was a smart idea to do that too, because that in the long run will also give him time to process that grief and having to deal with that death. And we know that's going to play throughout the series and throughout the season. That's going to come into play at some point. But I think that they did a good job with these. I thought it flowed very evenly. I thought it flowed very well. I thought that they were all action-packed and really well done. And I thought that, the introduction to certain characters, I thought was done very well as well. And overall, I thought that it was done well and a very enjoyable portion of the episode. I mean, everyone pretty much has touched on everything. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I got for that.
Okay, excellent. Renee, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, was there anything specifically that maybe you took out of those scenes? Or was there anything that resonated with you specifically?
Yeah, well, I thought it was the second half of it, that what I'm referring to as the Boston segment, because that's really where they're at. And the whole time jump, I liked it, because they trusted the audience that we're going to get that, all this is horrific things have happened, and at this point, 20 years later, they've at least got to the point where people are living in these sort of protected enclaves, but they're very harsh living conditions, because they can't allow infection to creep in and whatnot. So it's very nasty. And then of course society is broken down to just barter system, and chits and stuff like that, pay them with that, and a lot of black market going on. Of course, that's what Jewel and Tess are involved in. They're quite prolific, I guess, successful doing that, making runs outside of Boston and whatnot. And I'm assuming their relationship is like Jasmine says. I don't think there's a great love there, because I think in their world, I think love and romance is pointless. They have no future. They could die at any minute. It could all end, tomorrow. So that's how they sort of live their lives. They just in the moment, and they're companions, they're business partners, and they get along. So, I'm sure they have a great deal of affection for each other. It's just they just are not going to let it go beyond just like you say, a fuck buddy stage or whatever. And then when we get to Ellie, she's here she's this the hope has suddenly been entered into this hopeless world. And the whole thing is, look to the light. That's the fireflies, the light. Look to that. And so that's where we're going to sort of, I guess, take the show, where it's just so hopeless, so dire, so terrible, so brutal, and we're going to hopefully see some hope going forward.
There you go. And it's always good to have hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a positive thing. So at that point, basically, right from there, we basically get into a conversation where Tess explains to Joel, and we figure out sort of, I guess, to some extent, not the entire plan or like where things are going, but we get more information as far as what Joel's planning. And, basically, again, Tess is tough as nails. I found her dialogue and the way that she handled her lines and the best probably out of that whole segment. I thought she was great. She is gritty as fuck, right? Like seriously. I mean, I joke about being down by She-Hulk, but Tess would down me probably and just fuck me up, But anyways, basically she just basically tells him, hey, this fucking guy Roberts, his boys fucked me up. We lost the battery. Robert's going to sell it to somebody else. He's scared as shit of you, right? And so right there, you get the gist that like Joel's no joke. Like he don't fuck around. And of course, we see that later. The toll, the other effects of what happened to the death of her daughter with him. But and basically Tess as usual is just gritty as shit. She's like, well, you know what? He really doesn't want you to hurt him, but I want you to. I'd like you to hurt him. And I was like, yo, I love that shit. That's dope. That's HBO Studios, baby. Only on HBO. But and then from there, she's like, well, why don't we just go friggin' take our shit, right? And we'll get it. And we'll just go do what we got to do. So at that point, we go right from there to, and we do, and again, we see the affection that he has for her. He's concerned when he sees that she's been beat up and whatnot and everything. He still has feelings. He still has ethics and morals to some extent. They're just, I guess, looser. So then we get two women from the Fireflies. We get Kim and we get Marlene, the actual leader. They just basically have a short conversation where basically it's, Marlene explains that they're going to attack or launch an assault on I guess like one of the main Fedra facilities, in order to lure Fedra away as much as possible from their hideout so that they can go ahead and they can get, Ellie loose, right? And they can get her to their people out west, right? They, because she's important to them. She's very valuable, important to them. Now, at that point, I don't believe she actually says why, but she just says, we got to get her out of here. She's very important. At that point, they're going to lure, they're going to do the attack. They're going to lure Phaedra away. The Fireflies are a faction. They're a group. Again, there are going to be multiple groups in the series. We're going to see multiple factions of groups that have different bents, different agendas and whatnot and everything. But there is, of course, a sentiment like there is always going to be in a democratic society where when you have military or like imperial rule for 20 years, there's going to be motherfuckers that are going to be like, you know what? I ain't having that. Like, I'm fighting back. So Joel and Tess go to, I guess, what I think is the hideout or whatever, essentially, for like Robert's gang or something like that. I guess it was like a house. At first I thought it was a sewer, to tell you the truth. And they come in, and right at the bat, they see a like a fungus, infected like corpse that's actually attached itself to a wall, and it looks all fucking weird as shit. And at that point, they walk into a hallway. They see all these dudes are dead all over the place. All of Robert's people are dead. Robert's dead, and the battery's sitting right there. And right there, Ellie pops out and tries to like straight gut with her knife. Joel. He stops her, and then Kim and Marlene pop out. They have an exchange, and long story short, Marlene's been wounded. She was shot, I guess, in the firefight in between Robert and his goons. At that point, Marlene basically says, "Hey, look, Fedra's going to be here in 5 minutes because of the gunshots and the gunfire. At that point, you're going to have to take the responsibility of taking over our mission to get Ellie out of here, right? Get her to the west. You're going to have to do it. It's that simple. I can't do it. I'm bleeding out, right? Like, at that point, I'm going to give you the supplies. I'm going to give you the shit you need, the battery, whatever, for your truck. You're going to give you the shit. All you got to do is just go ahead and get her out of here. You'll be taken care of." They negotiate a little bit really quickly. And, right there, that's pretty much decided. That's what's going down. And right from there, right at that point, essentially, I apologize. So anyways, Elle and Joel then kind of get to know each other a little bit, and chill a little bit and whatnot, and have some back and forth in a short scene. And you get some more of Ellie's sort of like, sharp tongue. And, but at the same time, she also mentions his watch being broken. Soldier from earlier, drug deal, whatever, whatnot, Joey Rent, 2000, catches them, Jess, Joel, and Ellie, holds them up as they're trying to get the hell out of there, to leave the Boston, I'm sorry, decontaminated or whatever zone. And at that point, at gunpoint, they try to negotiate with the soldier and bribe him to let them go. And basically at that point, Ellie again jumps out and tries to cut him with her fucking knife. And at that point, it's crazy because fucking Joe just fucking like straight has a flashback of his daughter dying right there in that situation, and then just launches right into that motherfucker and just decimates him, just punishes him, right? She-Hulk style, and just savages the dude hand to hand, right? And that's it, pretty much, right? At that point, they get out, they leave. That's the end. That is actually, folks, the record for TrueKnowledge. That is the shortest I've ever been able to actually moderate or do a recap or review of any episode ever or movie. So I'm very proud of myself. Starting with you, Renee, kind of reversing the last style of the questioning.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? I know it's a big chunk, right? But what did you take? Taking into consideration time, what did you take out of that? Was there anything specific that you got out of it? Was there anything that connected to what you said in your last question, maybe? And also, what did you think of that whole like fungus corpse that had like grown to the wall in that one scene?
Yeah, that was that was like real right out of Lovecraft. I mean, that's his type of stuff. That gross, just the human deforming and turning into whatever. Going back to the fungus, I think it's out and it gets into the next episode. I don't want to get too far into that, but there is, I'm not sure what you call it, but there is and it's called a single living organism, but it is a fungus. It's the largest living organism in the world. And it's out in Wyoming somewhere. And I think I forget, it's like the size of 2 or 3 counties, good sized counties. I mean, it's huge, but it's all underground. And so anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out to kind of creep everybody out a little bit more about that.
Is that real?
Yeah. Fungus are just very, very fascinating creatures. I just, can't get enough fungi. And of course, we get cybacillin and magic mushrooms. And I think he also mentioned that the professor in the opening sequence that, and it's true, I guess LSD is actually derived from fungi.
Oh, okay.
And penicillin too.
I wouldn't know anything about LSD. I've never taken any drugs before in my life. So.
Oh, okay, right.
We believe you.
And no, anyways, Renee, did you have anything else?
No, I just thought I just wanted to creep everybody out as much as possible.
Oh, you know what? I also wanted to point out that I really thought it was really dope that you labeled them the sponge people or whatever. That's really fucking cool.
Oh yeah,
I
was trying to say mushroom people.
Oh well,
and there's a famous Japanese movie from the 1960s, I think 1963, called Invasion of the Mushroom People.
Well, for now on, they're the sponge people, as far as I'm concerned. So, anyways, so Jasmine, my friend, what were your thoughts on that part of the show?
Honestly, it was basically just them doing what they did the game, just shorter. I mean, there's so much more that they did in the game than compared to what they did in the show for the first episode. Because in the game, you're supposed to, you go underground, you go and come across a lot of infected. But having them go up the ladder and you kind of see the fungi just all over the walls and stuff like that, it's little details that make me enjoy it. Like, they're not rushing it, they're not giving you letting you see the infected yet. You're just kind of, like Renee said, very HP Lovecraft. It was very just suspenseful, building on that suspense of what's going to happen next, what are they going to look like, what's going on. The fungi is gross. That's all I have to say about that, Miss Fungi. It's so fascinating. I'm like, ugh. It's like, I barely like mushrooms. You over here just like the fungi. I'm just like, ugh.
Well, you've never eaten a mushroom in your life?
No,
At a
I've had
Chinese
mushroom, but
There
I
you
barely.
go. You've eaten them. We've all eaten them.
Yes, but it doesn't change the fact that the show makes me, especially when you call them mushroom people, make me look at mushrooms sideways now, like, ugh.
Renee, you're asking a chick that sucked Chewbacca's dick if she ate a mushroom before.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, I don't know.
You say mushroom tips.
That puts a whole new spin on mushroom dick. Yeah.
I mean,
sorry,
they
Jazz.
are mushroom penises. I'm just saying they are.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on,
The head
Jazz.
of a head of a penis looks like a mushroom. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You gotta remember, I don't have a penis. There's nothing down there. So
Oh, wait, no,
Yeah,
wait.
he's
It was
shrunk
little.
up.
It was
What
little.
used to
Now
look
it's no
like,
longer
Jeff?
there.
What it used to look like.
Winston's extremely tiny. To my level, there is no head. So, anyways. But no, Jazz, continue.
Okay. Basically, I liked how when she finally meets Ellie, it's pretty much the same interaction we got from the game with her trying to stab Joel by busting through a door, him stepping on the knife to keep her from getting it, him kicking it away, her calling him an asshole. It was pretty much hit for hit for the game at that point. There's little things that I know that are coming up in future episodes that have kind of been, coming through the pipeline. But for the most part, this episode is pretty much hit for hit. Are we still talking about the part where they went outside yet, or are we just not doing it yet?
No, I already said we're going all the way to the end of the episode.
Oh, okay. At that point, them going outside after the guy that they gave fentanyl to said, "Don't go outside," or because we're doing our jobs now. All of a sudden, him peeing and then not shaking the leg when he had to cut it all short. Hilarious. It was the dog kick for me. He was hilarious. Him getting his ass killed by Joel beating the shit out of him. I'm surprised dude didn't get his damn drugs back. Like, go in there, pull it out. He didn't take them all yet. He was doing his job, so he wasn't high. And then them freaking out over Ellie, being detected, and I was just like, why is this giving me COVID?
Good point. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. That's a good point that Jazz makes, that we do actually see them right at the end. Tess first notice that she does have a wound, that she's been bit, and they do freak out and whatnot and believe she's infected. Thank you, Jazz.
It was giving me COVID-19, where people were getting stopped outside restaurants because, your temperature is just a little bit high.
Whoever has the
giving me
TV on,
Yeah.
please turn it down. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jess.
Don't look at me. But it was just it's funny just kind of seeing how Tess immediately was on guard, and Joel's like, I just killed somebody for this bitch. Like it was it was a realization that she's infected after he just killed dude. And he's just like, fuck. Like looking at his bloody fist going, well, damn it. I killed the wrong person situation. Them going to find Ellie and then finding out that car battery dude was going to fence a dead ass battery twice. That was petty. I was glad he was dead because I know damn well I would have killed him myself. But him getting killed that way compared to how he got killed in the game, which is you killing him. Me, personally, I'd take him to an effective area, kick his ass in, and then let them deal with it. That's just me, though. I'm petty. or kick him down some steps, off a ladder, off a rooftop, pick a surface. But honestly, it's just little details throughout the episode that really drive home the fact that they're actually going for a accurate adaptation, regardless of the minor changes that they implemented in order to make it more realistic and more cohesive with character actor choices, which I thought was really good. And Tess is miraculous. Like, her acting chops are hilarious. Like, her being a hostage and being like, bitch, I'm fine, I just need an ice pack, a beer, I'm good. I'm like, ain't this the bitch that would be getting fucked in the alley? Like, at last call? Like, she give me very much that. Like she date Chris Brown, get her ass beat, be like, another one, daddy.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if I had been in that scene and I would have been Joel, it would have been a flashback of one of Kit and Jade's lesbian scenes in Willow that would have flashed back in my head, and I would have beat that guy up and killed him out of rage from like how pathetic those scenes were, right? But anyways,
what do you think they were gonna do? Scissor on screen? No.
Jeff can only hope.
Look, if you're
listen, it's Disney, okay?
Listen, if you're female and you can, and even in a non-sex situation, you can't make a lesbian scene look cool or hot or something or whatever. It sucks. There's something fucking wrong with you at that point.
Here, let me give you a little pit quo. Stop hiring straight people to play gay characters, and maybe you'll get a realistic kissing scene. Like,
what
they
are you
have
talking
to
about?
fake it till they make it. Not one of those actors were gay. So you had them kissing, and it was just very
It's called acting, Jasmine.
And they acted poorly, apparently, for his taste.
Jasmine, I'm straight, and I could suck a dick better than any chick probably if I wanted to in a minute if I just tried it. So,
Mr. Gag Reflex, I doubt it.
Nah. I got the game, baby. It don't matter what I'm doing. Anyways. No. Anyways, Jrent 2000. Jrent 2000, my friend. What were your thoughts on the parts of the episode that you dropped way earlier in the show?
Oh yeah, just shotgun blasted. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I like that whole scenario where it gave him that when you mentioned of the flashback with his daughter. I thought it made a lot of sense. When he aimed the gun towards Ellie, and I just right away flipped a switch for him because that's what it did. It just caused a reaction from him, and that's when he lost it. And he did what I'm sure he wished he could have done before 20 years ago. And I think that's where that anger came out to do that is from. And that's why they threw that little flashback in there to oh, okay, he's fucking pissed. Because in that scene, I guess I'm assuming that if you think about it, you're more scared in that scene. Oh, we're caught. You're more scared, but he got angry, and the anger came from somewhere, and the fact of his daughter is just what allowed him to do that. In that part,
most definitely
dissecting that part.
No, it was really cool how they kept tying it with him. They very subtly, and only in certain situations, like when he passed out, thinking of her cries from dying, they were very selective in where they decided to use that stuff, and it was well done, I thought. But was there anything else you wanted to point out, Jrent?
No, I think I said I like the Depeche Mode song at the end of it. I'm gonna say it again.
Okay,
yeah, it's a good song.
Okay, Cyber, my friend. Cyberneticshark, what would you have to say about that part of the episode, sir?
So the whole end sequence of this episode was very interesting because I like how they introduced Ellie. I like how they introduced that basically that group that's holding her kind of hostage, wanted to take her to see why she was bit, and she was able to not turn into a zombie. And that whole sequence there, we got that kind of interesting introduction to Tess. we got to see kind of her relationship with Joel. We saw the introduction to like Elle and those people, like I said, and all that whole sequence there was just a really kind of nice, long, and very, fun, I thought, transition into the episode. It didn't bore me. It didn't like feel like a drag. It actually felt like it was telling a really good story. And I also thought that they did a good job of keeping it pretty precise and clear to what they were doing. And I thought it was kind of funny the first time Ellie talks and she like swears. I was kind of cracking up going, wow, this 14-year-old has a mouth on her. Jesus Christ. And I thought that was kind of funny how they had, her right off the bat, like saying the F word. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take on the character because I feel that's how she is in the video game. So I thought they did a good job of, bringing that to the actual movie screen or video screen, as you want to call it. And just how the episode ends, it kind of leaves you wanting and yearning for more. And I thought they did a good job of keeping it. It's not really a cliffhanger, but at the same time, it entices you to think and want to know more and want to get to that next episode. And I liked how they did that. And I thought it was really well done. And I just really enjoyed this whole episode. And I thought all of it was really well done.
I did too. I agree with you 100%.
I agree also.
Most definitely. Renee, I can't remember. Did I already go to you?
Yeah, you've already got me.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Jermaine, my friend. I'm sorry. I purposely put you last just because I'm an asshole. So, anyways, but besides that, tell me, my friend, did you think it was a great episode? I know you liked it already, right? But what did you think of those final scenes? What did you think of Joel beating the shit out of that dude? Just that whole deal.
So it was a nice cap to the beginning of the episode. It was very clear where they were going. The entire episode for me was great. Generally, for most television shows, there's music happening, especially around high drama sequences. If they had music, I don't recall it. It was just the drama of what we were seeing that kind of kept me glued to it. There's another show that I'm watching, and I literally fell asleep 5 times trying to get through it. On this particular episode, though, I was glued. They did everything right. Other people on this show have said it before. The actors are great. They carried their scenes. They did their job. Even when there wasn't dialogue, you were still following these characters with great interest. And I have nothing negative to say about this.
Most definitely, I don't either. I can't think. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to have any of the same applauds or compliments I had for maybe Andor, personally. Who I just want to put out there, folks. Watch Andor, please. Don't just stop after episode 2 and give up. Keep watching. It will be positive for you, I promise. Unless you just don't like good TV shows. But either way, I guess at that point, that's basically the gist of it. Once again, I want to thank everybody that came on the panel that's going to be dipping out now. Jrent, Jermaine. And at that point, we're going to reduce the squad a little bit for Cyber's part of this double episode review. Of course, I screwed Cyber up already and fucked him up and went too long and put him in a pinch. So thank you. I'm sorry, Cyber. I apologize.
You wouldn't expect anything less from him, right, Cyber?
Nope.
Cyber
Not at all.
Cyber has learned to tolerate my bullshit because he enjoys my charm. So, anyways, but no.
Is that what you call charm?
No. Honestly, Cyber, I'm not very charming. I'm not. It's not a quality I possess. No, I'm not. You can't be very charming when you don't even believe in monogamy. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, Jermaine, my friend, please do us a favor and tell us about your new YouTube channel, since Jermaine has actually started 7 new YouTube channels since I met him.
No, it's not true. Not true. It's Fantasy is Reality. Is my YouTube channel. So check us out. We are doing great things in a short amount of time. Only been active for about 5 months. There are a couple other YouTube channels that I'm associated with, but my primary one is Fantasy is Reality.
Okay, excellent. If you were the type to ever talk longer, I was gonna pull up your actual shit and whatnot and play it, but since you're so short and whatnot and everything, I didn't have time. So that's okay. If you want to not advertise and promote your shit, that's okay. I get it.
It's about brevity, man. You got 6 people on here.
I know that. I know. Jermaine, come on. You're a very selfless dude, man. You're a very selfless guy. Jermaine is a good guy. He'd help anybody in a minute. He don't fuck around. But no, it's good to see you, man. Good to have you in the panel, bro. I'll see you in 2 years.
Nice meeting you.
Hey,
Same here. Nice meeting you.
Jrent 2000. What's going on, brother?
What's up?
What has it been like in your content creation hibernation / break?
Good. I'm just putting a couple of things together, little side projects with some audio content. I'll be doing the Podcast Odyssey show here very soon. Probably gonna start it in February. I've been just working on like new backgrounds, new overlays for the show. I'm working on a new intro. I've got somebody creating a different creating a beat for me for my intro, and then I'm gonna make a video because I like to, how I like to do my editing and I edit videos. So I'm gonna create something there, make it very unique when I'll come back for season 3, I guess, of what it would be for it. And but I thank you guys for having me on the show. Jasmine, it was nice meeting you. Very nice meeting you. We'll see you again. Renee, aka Loki's mom. Always good to see you. I always enjoy your views as well. You have a very good views that I like to hear. Cyber, good to be back with you on the show. It's been a while, been a minute.
So has, sir. Don't be a stranger.
I'm not. Sometimes I'll, Jeff keeps in contact with me, and then I'm like looking, and I got to scroll all the way down on my messages to find where Cyber last talked to me. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're gonna do some more stuff together, guys, and I'm glad to. This is my first time on camera in probably over a month or so. So.
Hey, Cyber and I think both feel complimented by that. We do. I definitely do. I think that's very wonderful for you to point out. That makes me feel really good. It does.
I'm glad to that you asked me. So,
hey, listen, I thank you. That's very wonderful for you to point that out and whatnot. It makes me feel really good to know that you wanted to come here, right, and get back in the game doing it here. I know it was Jazz and Cyber that brought you back, and Renee, not me, but that's okay.
Well, it's good meeting all your crew and everybody that you rotate in and the new faces, and this is a show that I like so far watching, and it's what a great one to jump in and kind of get the ball rolling.
Well, then, hey man, why don't you do something really interesting and actually come back and do more episode reviews with us?
No, I will. That's why I was mentioning on the little sideboard here about coming back. So yeah, I won't make it for episode 2, which was a great episode, by the way. But episode 3, I'm sure it's going to be hopefully equally as good as episode 2 and 1. And I'll come back for that one next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be here.
Awesome. I'll put your name right down. And
Sweet,
hey, and also, brother, it'll be wonderful. I know Cyber and shares the same opinion that I do. I believe that we'd love to come back and do some more Podcast Odyssey, man. We both had a blast hanging out with you.
Oh, we will. Jeff, I have some things in mind for you particularly.
Oh, and Renee too.
And Renee, yeah, Renee, she's the movie buff. She knows stuff and things about movies that you'd want to get information from her. That's what I like when she talks. So when she talks about movies and stuff, she knows cinema, and I really like that. And Cyber too. He's another cinema nut that you can ask him, and he gives you a unique perspective from it. So, and I enjoy both of it. The stuff that we're gonna do is gonna be a little bit different from the cinema that I'm trying to kind of, stretch away. I want to do more of the what we talked about, the current events and trending stuff like that. I want to tap into some different ideas, different areas. But I think it'll be fun to have everybody.
Yeah, most definitely, and you should definitely bring Jazz on too.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. We can mix the pot and get a group of people. Always great to have new guests.
I'm game.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll do it. You know what? You have a personality too that I think would fit very well with a lot of topics that I want to do when it comes to like stuff that's trending and current events. You seem like you're up to date with things, probably more than I am. So yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't want to talk too much anymore, so I'll let you guys continue.
All right, Jrent 2000 Podcast Odyssey. Tell Liz we love you. Wish you the best. Most big love to your family, to the kids and whatnot and everything. And we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Bye, Jrent.
There you go. And he flashed. What was that? Was that Liz right there at the end? Okay. Anyways, folks, I'm done with that shit. I'm going on the fucking panel. I'm done. I'm tired of this shit. This moderating shit is fucking too hard for me. So I'm throwing it over to Cyber now.
All right, people. So, second episode, Last of Us, which was, I think, my favorite episode so far. The first one is great, but this second episode was even better. I was really impressed with how well they did it. And, I mean, right off the bat where they took it, I just was really happy with what they did, and it just really entertained me. So basically, this episode starts off, another flashback sequence goes back to 2 days before the outbreak happens over in India. And these officers go into this restaurant and grab this scientist who happens to be a mycologist, is what she is referred to. And basically, they take her to this lab where they have a dead body. That basically they explain to her that they want her to look at something in a microscope. She looks at it, then looks at the dead body. And basically, they explain to him that basically this lady was bit. And like a few hours later, she became ravenous and started going erratic and crazy and doing all this crazy stuff. And that basically that this is like a problem that they feel is going to start to escalate, and that they need answers on finding a cure, a vaccine or something to stop it in its path. Because at this plant where this lady worked, there's 14 missing employees who also have come in contact with somebody that bit them. So basically, after he asked, can you help us discover a vaccine or this, cure or anything like that? And she's basically like, I've seen this, I've studied this, this fungi for, many, many years. There's no cure to it. There's no vaccine for it. There's nothing you could do to this. This thing is basically indestructible. And the only thing you can really do is bomb it. And she basically suggests that they just bomb this whole city to keep it from basically spreading. And so, as you see 20 years later, after 2003 and 2023, there's a lot of cities that have been bombed and stuff because they thought that was the way to stop this from happening. So that was kind of a predecessor to that. So then we go to current time in 2023, and Elle is waking up in a place where her, Joel, and Tess have been traveling. And basically, the whole intro to the episode is they start to venture, and they kind of have little small conversations here and there. Basically, Joel is keeping his distance. Tess is keeping his distance from her, Tess, because they don't know what's going on with this girl because she was bit. Why hasn't she transformed and all this kind of stuff? And basically, she wakes up and she's like, "Oh, can I go to the bathroom?" And they're like, "Okay, yeah, go to the bathroom." She goes to the bathroom. They kind of have a side conversation. Basically, what are we gonna do in case she does change? And basically, Tess is like, we got to make sure to take this through so that we can get that battery and get our treasure, even though there's really no promise in this because it's been 20 years and we still haven't found a cure and all this stuff. There's really no hope, but we still got to do this. And so, Joel agrees. And that's after that, Elle comes back. They kind of do some like chitter chatter back, and then they leave the building that they're in. They go outside. So before we move on past that, let's just go around the table real quick. What were you guys' thoughts on that introduction to this episode? What did you think about the flashback? And what did you think about that first initial conversation of Elle, Joel, and Tess kind of getting to know it a little bit about each other a little bit more before they start their adventure? Starting with you, Jasmine.
Well, personally, I thought that the opening sequence of her being in the restaurant and everybody eating, and then the officers coming in was very reminiscent of some history they have when in that said country, when they know that if you see a police officer or soldiers come into a diner in such fashion, you immediately know that something's wrong. And I like that little bit of detail because everyone froze. Everyone stopped what they were doing, no matter what they were doing in deep conversation, everything froze. And they immediately went and walked over to the lady. I liked how when she was working on the body, that when she pulled the fungus out of the mouth and it started twitching, she immediately freaked the fuck out. My boyfriend Andrew said that it was really funny to the fact that she just kind of said, "Oh yeah, let's just drop it on the floor," like that's not like it's gonna be bad or anything. Because like Outbreak, Resident Evil, come on, like you gonna drop it, just go, "Oh shit, ah." Girl, it wiggled. It ain't that bad. Like she acted like it tried to snap at her like a dog or something. But yeah, her having that conversation with the one soldier about the outbreak and that it's not going to stop and it's definitely going to be a pandemic. Definitely was giving me very much COVID-19. Remembering that kind of similarity with the media and all the drama with the scientists tying themselves to building and stuff and warning us about things the media wasn't covering, which that's what it really reminded me of. Also, I didn't very much enjoy that Ellie was in it kind of looked like she was in made herself a little makeshift bed. And she still has her little crack humor, and Tess and Joel are still on edge and don't really trust her, especially after finding out that she was bit. And so they're checking on her and looking at the wound, and but it was funny just kind of how she tried to do the choking scenario. That was funny. It was a quick little joke in a very serious situation that was kind of a nice little break from it. Them giving her a magazine to go wipe her ass from using the bathroom, and she was kind of like, "You sure it's safe in there?" And they made a crack about her being infected, and she goes, "Ha!" I like the little details that they had with their interactions and Joel and Tess's relationship, and showing that he cares a lot for Tess, but knows that there's a business relationship about it.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Loki's mom, your thoughts on the beginning of the episode, please.
Yeah, I thought when it opened up and then we see Ellie, she's just lying there in what looks like almost like a little peaceful, and it's green, little flowers and whatnot. And then it opens out and we see that she's actually, this is something going inside of a house where the roof has collapsed. And, then we see this little beautiful, peaceful scene then becomes very degraded, if I can speak correctly. Yeah, and then like you say, we get to know the character a little bit better. We get to some more of her backstory. Actually, you know what? I jumped ahead because the Jakarta scene. That's what was actually the opening scene. So I'll go back to that. Yeah, it explained what the fungus was a little bit better. It, as Jasmine pointed out, that scene where the police or the soldiers or whatever, they come into that restaurant and everybody just freezes. And of course, you see these guys who are kind of, you assume, are thugs. They're looking around. Oh God, are they thinking they're coming from them? But then they walk right past to this sort of humble-looking little woman sitting in a corner, and of course, she's the scientist that goes and then freaks out when she actually sees what she pulls out of that person's mouth. And then of course she says, well, you know, the only answer she has is to nuke the place, you know, just go ahead and, you know, and please let me go home and be with my family. And and then we jump to the idyllic scene again, where we're back in Boston, trying to get out of the city. So yeah, I think there again, like I mentioned before, it was the sort of that Stephen King type. You know how he gets in depth with his characters and the involvement on multi layers. So we're going to see a relationship to begin to build with between this right now, which is a trio. They're going to build a little family or a little relationship, trying to go forward.
Excellent. Thank you. Jeff, same question, sir.
Well, taking into consideration that that Jazz and Renee have already done a really good job of addressing the, you know, the I guess what you'd find maybe the most powerful or impactful, you know, situations and spots that I probably would have mentioned already about, you know, this part of the beginning of the episode. All I'll really say is just that again, I'm really enjoying the I know I don't want to come off the wrong way, but or sound weird or whatever, but I am actually enjoying the sense of fear and of the unknown, right? And of you know, and just this very well portrayed and well done and well orchestrated you know, almost I guess atmosphere or vibe you get in these scenes. Same sitting in the first episode where you're able to almost sort of connect with maybe what it might feel like, right? To be possibly in a situation like this in a way. It would be like for you to be there in that spot, how you'd handle it, you know, what you'd want to do if you knew you were going to die, right? You know what I mean? And whatnot. And it was like soon. And that was about to go down. And they have to make decisions like just bomb that shit, you know? Just bomb those people. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's real. Like, you know, look, like I joke a lot and everything and whatnot, but if I ever had to actually be the one to have to make the call on dropping bombs on killing millions of people and shit, wow, man, that would not be something where I'd be able to just sit there and be like, oh, okay, you know, I mean, seriously, that's a real moral dilemma. It really is. To take human life away to that rate, is massive. So no, I just think that the dynamic between, again, I want to commend them for making sure that they did do the fan service stuff for the people that love the game, and they did go ahead and get that actress that did the voice for Tess in the game, and she is playing Tess in the series. That's big to me. I think that's really cool that they did that. I really think it means a lot. It shows a lot, right? As far as I'm concerned, I know you know what I mean, Cyber. We talked about this before.
Yep. Excellent. That's anything else?
No, just that. Just to be clear, since I'm mentioning her anyways, let me just point out that who I'm talking of, the actress's name actually is, to be respectful, I should at least drop her name. Of course, I didn't mention that Bella Ramsey plays Ellie. We know Pedro Pascal plays Joel. Basically, Nico Parker played Sarah, Joel's daughter. And essentially, Miri Dandridge plays Marlene. And besides that, we have, it looks like Anna Torp is Tess. And it says that she's a hardened survivor and Joel's smuggling partner. Torv and Pascal decided Tess and Joel had been lovers for some time, but like in the game, were subtle about their relationship. She felt her performance required consistent truthfulness due to its subtlety. Torv was aware of the games but had not played them. Oh, okay. I get this wrong. She watched cutscenes after her casting. In the first game, Tess is played by Annie Warshwing. So I apologize, folks. I was wrong about that. She didn't play or voice act the Tess character in the first game. I don't know where I got that from. I think I got something misconstrued or wrong.
All right. Thank you, sir. Excellent. All right. So moving on with the episode. So after that, that's when they start their adventure across the wasteland, basically. While they're outside traveling and stuff like that, basically Elle is kind of getting used to seeing the outside world a little bit more because she's really not, very familiar with it, even though, she's kind of learned about it in school and stuff like that. And as they're traveling, they start to hear noises, and Elle asks what that is, and they're like, let's just keep moving. And so as they travel, they end up, keep traveling, and then they get to this building where they used to be able to get through a certain way over to the next part of the city that they needed to get to their rendezvous part. Well, when they get into the building, that section has collapsed basically, and they don't know when this happened or why this happened. So they got to figure out a different way of getting through there. So that's when Tess, suggests, oh, let me get up in there and I'll get through and I'll go and open the door so we can get through that walkway. So she goes up in there. And that's what Joel and Ellie are standing behind, and they kind of have a little conversation. Elle starts asking questions to Joel, and he answers a few, and then all of a sudden she starts to get a little bit more personally. He's like, no, I'm not going to, she's like, okay, enough. And, that he's not going to talk more about it. She starts asking about Tess and stuff like that. So he shuts her down. And that's when basically Tess comes back through the door and says, hey, wait, it's just me. Don't fire, Joel. It's just me. And she opens the door and has cleared kind of a pathway. So they go into the door. And that's when they get to the other section of the building. And as they're traveling their way through, that's when they come across, basically this next section of the building, which is a old hotel. And they go in there and they start to walk into the water. And Elle at first is like, I can't swim. And, and stuff like that. He's like, oh, really? It's like, didn't you learn that in your school, whatever? She's like, no. And he gets down there. He's like, "Hey, smart ass, watch!" And he gets in there, and he's like standing in like a couple feet of water. And it's like she's like, "Oh, I didn't know. How are you supposed to know that?" So then she walks into the water with them, and they start walking through. And she starts noticing things in the hotel, like, "Oh, it's so cool," and stuff like that. And she goes over to the desk and rings the bell and starts doing the thing, like, "Oh, I'm a guest and I'm checking in," and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, she gets freaked out by a skeleton. And he's like, oh, it's okay. It's just a skeleton. And so they keep making their way through, and they get through there. And then they get to the next section of the building. And that's when basically they get there. And all of a sudden, as they get in there, the back of it collapses. And they're stuck in there. And so then while they're in there, this is basically a certain area. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's when, after they get through there, that's when they get outside, and they're up on the terrace, and they look down, and that's when they see all the zombies down there. And realize that this way is not a way for them to get through. So as they look down there and stuff like that, they kind of have a conversation a little bit, about about the creatures down there, and they've started kind of living there and have basically taken over this section of this part of the area, and basically, you know, that there's really no way of getting through there anymore. We have to find another way. So, before we move on past that, let's talk a little bit about that section prior to that. What were you guys' thoughts on that section of the episode? What did you think about their traveling, the hotel sequence, your thoughts on their conversations, and just overall, what did you think about that little section of the episode? Starting with you, Loki's mom.
Yeah, I thought when they really got to the hotel and they had to walk, and there was just that little bit of and you know, Ellie does bring a little bit of comedy, a little lightness to it, with her little snarky comments and whatnot, and her cheekiness. So I think that's, you know, there is that little spark there, and we see it there when she's, I'm not gonna, you know, and she has no idea what, you know, how that would, a hotel lobby would be, you know, that it wouldn't be, you know, totally sunk down like that. But anyway, but it's sort of set up because you think, oh my God, now something's going to get them in that water. Something's going to come up. You just know it. So there's that tense, that suspense of having to walk through that wade through that water, and with the lily pads and the frogs, and then of course they come up on the skeleton, and I noticed that skeleton didn't have any of this, the fungi appendages or anything on it. So I'm assuming that person maybe put a pistol in their mouth, you know, and said, "To hell with it, I'm going this way." But anyway, whatever. But yeah, and then when they finally get upstairs and get where they see all that like Cyber says, the zombies or the mushroom people or whatever. And then there that ripple effect where I guess those bodies at that point they're sort of they've become stationary and part of a larger organism. And as they say, that's how it sort of communicates, because if you touch one section of the organism, it's going to alert way down all the way down the line to the ones that are more mobile, that are still mobile and able to actually attack and bring more zombies into the fold of the fungus. So yeah, very creepy. Just and really gives us a good sense. And another thing, it kind of reminded me of, if you've ever seen the movie, the Steven Spielberg version of War of the Worlds, where they're walking, it's actually toward the end of the movie, where they're walking back into Boston, and you see all the tentacles of the Martians or whatever they are, the aliens, and so it reminded me of that. You know, I think it was some of an homage to that movie, based by the fact that it's both, you know, based in Boston, or that scene was in Boston.
Excellent, awesome. All right, Jasmine, your thoughts, please.
Honestly, I thought the little bit of humor, like Renee said, was pretty funny with Ellie. She's just a little bit of comedic relief, but not too much. The tension between the characters is really noticeable, especially in this episode, with their trust waning. Ellie can't quite trust Tess and Joel very well, because of the fact that, you know, they keep pointing a gun at her. And, you know, them going to the hotel is definitely different compared to the game, since they didn't do that in the game. Them as a group going to the hotel, that was something that Joel and Ellie did, especially the part where she's referring to the fact that she can't swim. That's much further into the game. So it seems like they're kind of changing a little bit of the dynamic and trust of the group by moving dialogue from, you know, places in which it was. Joel kind of being a dick and getting in the water was funny, because he was just like, ain't that high. Her freaking out from the skeleton. I freaked out, and so did Joel. He grabbed his gun, and I was like, oh crap. And I was like, oh, fuck you, Ellie. It's just kind of cool how they're being suspenseful, and how they're just allowing us to get to know these characters and build these relationships so that later when we're coming upstairs and come across how further are we into this part?
I stopped right before that part.
Oh, okay. As we further our way up the staircase, it is very nice to get to know these characters because you're getting to know them a lot more than you do in the game, because the game itself doesn't allow you to get to know characters very well outside of Ellie and Joel as individuals, especially with the included DLC. So it's really nice. I can't remember if Ellie and Tess conversating is before or after upstairs.
Which conversation?
The part of her being in the mall.
That is before the upstairs.
Okay. Well, yeah, I like the fact that they did mention the part of the game from the DLC where, without mentioning it, they kind of winked to it for later info, which was really nice. I like little details that this show is going for that only true fans of like the game know, and it's a nice little wink. I like that.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. Jeff, same question, sir.
Oh, well, basically, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead, but you know, I agree with Jazz. I think that it must be cool. Again, I didn't play the game, but it must be cool to actually get to see other characters besides just Joel and Ellie really being, you know, featured all the time. Although at the same time, I guess really at the end of the day, that relationship and that premise and whatnot and that dynamic is the entire inspiration of why they made the show. So bottom line, basically, I enjoy, and again, it's not for very long, obviously. I enjoy the actress that plays Tess. I like the Tess character. I enjoy the scenes with her and Joel and Ellie. I think that their dynamic is interesting. Again, I like the fact, and I noticed again, I very much tried to pay attention here and there and try to like look and see at all if they were making an effort to try to constantly try to separate themselves from other tropes, other genres with this that align to this stuff. Because we all know how popular zombie stuff has been for like the last 15 years or whatever. I mean, that shit was on fire there for a minute. So, you know, I like the fact that that they had the balls even in a way to make this show, right? Coming off that. No, I enjoy, you know, the I guess the chemistry, or if you want to call it that, or the dynamic between the group. I like the visuals. They're not like pop you visuals. They're not like special effect visuals, but just the general visuals of how things look in this world, right? After 20 years of like, you know, what's going on with the infection of 60% of the human race being killed off, right? Or not killed off, but infected. You know, which I guess essentially killed off at that point, right? You know, just carriers of the virus or the infection. And, you know, of course, now I'm not going to get into it now. We'll save it for another show, but we will talk about and get into from the games, as Jasmine knows about, that there are different types and different stages of the infection. There's 4. Like I said, I'm not going to break them down right now. Next episode or our next review, when we have time, we'll lay it out real briefly, but there's 4 stages, and there are different variations of what type of infected people you get, right? There aren't just, you know, standard ones. So there's, you know, there's different types, variants. That's where the add-on package comes in, right? And game 2. So eventually, obviously, there's going to be more seasons of this where they're going to get into the second game. There's no way around it. But bottom line, I basically just thought that, again, The acting, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I like the sort of I guess maybe quiet, tone of this episode a lot of times, even though there is action. I like the fact that there's a lot of quietness where there really just isn't a lot of sounds. There really isn't much going on other than dialogue and like natural sounds like wind and you know what I'm saying, and just the atmosphere. I like that contrast of action and then the very heavy dialogue yet no background type scenes, right? I like that type of vibe, that focus on the dialogue. I think it actually adds something to it, right? When you don't have cars beeping their horns and shit, and random sounds happening in the background. I like the fact that I don't know about y'all, but I'm not trying to get all into the crazy comparisons of Walking Dead, but I do want to just point out that this does have a very different tone than the zombie genre type shows. It does. It's clear. And you see it in episode 2 very much.
Very much so. Thank you, sir. All right. So after that explanation about the zombie horde down at the bottom, after looking over the balcony, they go upstairs. They have a funny kind of little scene where after they've walked 10 flights of stairs, the Ellie's kind of like, that was easy. And they're like, and then Tess is like, well, when you get to our age and have our knees, then you could say something. And kind of have that kind of funny moment there for a second. And as they walk through, that's when they get basically to this certain area of the up top of the building. And that's when they get into this area, like I said, where they are basically the back falls behind them and they're trapped in there. And so they get in there and basically that's when we get introduced to a new zombie version called the Clickers. And so as they're in there, all of a sudden they start hearing sounds and they're like, Joel's like, we've got to be quiet. We got to be silent. We can't can't talk or anything like that. And they start searching the room. And that's when they come in contact with the Clickers. And basically they have kind of like an all out battle with these Clickers. And in the mix there, Ellie gets bit. And once again, she gets bit and doesn't notice at first until later on. And they're battling these Clickers and stuff like that, and they're trying to kill them and stuff like that. And we see all this kind of great kind of like action sequences, and then we get to see these cool prosthetics and stuff like that of these Clickers. And if you look at the Clickers, their faces almost look kind of very similar to me. I feel they look very similar to like all the ocean creatures of Davy Jones characters in the Pirates of the Caribbean film. Very similar to that. They have kind of that like almost like oyster seashell thing going on, look with their face there. It's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 2, I feel a little bit. It looks kind of similar to that. And so, they battled them and they finally stopped. They killed both of them or all of them that were in there. And they basically start to get out of the window. And that's when Ellie notices she's been bitten. She's like, she's like, man, I got bit again. She's like, how? And basically it's like, well, at least it was me. I'd rather it be me than you guys. And they get out there. Tess sits down with Joel, and Joel starts putting tape around her foot because apparently she injured her foot at some point. They really don't reference it much. They just show him taping up her foot. And that's they're doing that. They sit down, and Ellie makes her way across the little wood bridge over to the other building. And basically Joel's kind of like, what are we gonna do? Maybe the first one just didn't take. Maybe this one, what are we gonna do with her if she turns? And it's like, basically it's like we just got to keep an eye on her, and hopefully she doesn't. And if worst comes worst, we got to take her out. And as they get across, after she's wrapped her foot, that's when they get to the rendezvous point at the state. When they get there, all of a sudden they notice that something's not right. And where is everybody? And basically they go and they search this truck that where these people are supposed to be, and there's like blood and stuff like that all over the place. They walk around the truck, and there's a dead person there, and they're noticing something has happened there, and that's when they go inside the building there, the state building, and there's all these dead people on the ground, and basically, as they're checking this out and like trying to figure out what's going on, Tess kind of starts freaking out, going, "Oh crap, what are we gonna do?" Somebody's got to have a map on them where we have to take her and this kind of stuff. And basically, that's when we find out that Tess has been bitten. And basically, she walks over to Elle, and she's like, "Show us your arm, Elle." And she takes off the thing, and it's already started healing. Like, what the hell? Like there's something definitely magical about this girl. And so, we got to get her to there. She could be the cure. We need to finally start thinking positive that there is possibly a way to find a cure for this. And so basically, Tess like convinces Joel that he needs to take her and get out of there, and that she's going to stay behind and stop, basically any zombies that are coming their way. So before that happens, we have kind of where one of the persons that's on the floor kind of wakes back up, and Joel kills him. And then all of a sudden it cuts real quick to the ground, and it shows this hand, and there's like one of those parasites kind of moving around in the hand. And it's all of a sudden all the zombies in that area we saw earlier are awakened and have been alerted of that people are at the state house, and they make their way there. So when they find that out, she's like, Tess basically starts kicking over these oil or gasoline cans, and she's like, "I'll stay behind and I'll keep them so you can get away." So right before they get there, that's when Joel and Ellie run out, and Tess is trying to light a lighter to set the gasoline on fire. And so while that's happening, all of a sudden this kind of like the head like zombie guy with the parasite coming out of his mouth walks over to her and starts to eject it in her mouth. And as she's doing that, she's still trying to do the lighter. She's able to get it, and she drops it to light it on fire. Then all of a sudden it pans back to Joel and Ellie as they're running away from the building, and it explodes. Boom. And then it kind of, Joel walks out of the frame, and it just shows kind of Elle, and then the episode ends. So this last section of the episode, what were your thoughts on Tess being killed? What were your thoughts on this little last section of the episode? The fight sequences with the clickers, this sequence here at the state, and just overall, what did you think of that last portion of the episode? Starting with you, Jasmine.
Well, personally, I thought they did a great job. It's an interesting thing how they have adapted the game to fit the way they've displayed the universe itself. Because in the game, it's like military people that are chasing them more than it is the infected. So when we're going from the clicker showing up, that little like mission, you can call it, is a hell of a lot different than it is in the game, with the fact that Joel is actually crawling under debris to get to them when they're locked into another room with a clicker. And you're trying to get through, and as soon as you're about to hit the room, a piece of debris gets in your way and you have to find another way around it. And it's just cool seeing how they have adapted it to just go straight to the room. He's with them instead of them being locked up a whole other floor ahead of him, trying to get away from the clickers and the infected. It's interesting. And especially with the fact that her getting bit secretively, the way that in the game you didn't know, but here you really didn't know. And Ellie, being the comedic little genius she is, she goes and says, "Well, if it had to be anybody, bitch." Like, I never laughed so hard in my life. I was like, that little girl is everything. And them bringing out duct tape and bandages was very much the supplies from the video game in order to heal yourself. So it's less about, dealing with her foot and more another little nod to the fan base. Because, of course, they're not going to bring it back up because if you know, you know. Pretty much. And a lot of people I know, when they walk a long distances for a long amount of time in really shitty shoes, they duct tape their foot so that their blisters or on their feet stop hurting as much and are not disturbed as much. Them going into the little chapel area where they were supposed to meet the fireflies was different because when they go there, they find out nobody's there, and then they're attacked by the military that's been chasing them this whole time. So them just going straight to the fact that the military's the fireflies are dead on the ground and the infected are everywhere was really unique and different storytelling, in my opinion. Because if you know, you know, and it was just, I loved it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a great display of really good writing. Showing the dead bodies on the ground and the fungi kind of crawling up out of the ground and kind of infecting the dead fireflies was really well done. It's nice to see how different the infection is compared to the game. And Tess getting, kissed by the zombie and infected, even worse than she already was bit, was horrifying. Because she's like, oh God, light. And then she's kissed and she finally gets it. And then she's just like, fuck. And it drops it. I felt like I had to scratch my own skin. It was so horrifying. In such the right way. I'm just saying the acting, the writing is impeccable, and it really shows in the second episode.
Excellent, thank you. Jeffrey, same question, sir.
You're echoing, Cyber, on my end. Jazz, I swear again, I'm not picking on you. There's just something that with your that happens sometimes where we start to echo on your end for a minute. But either way, Jazz makes a lot of good points. I think that it's also good to have someone have her like here. I never even thought about how helpful it would be to have somebody that really played the games, right, and knows the games, because I don't. And it's very helpful. It really is, Jazz. So thank you for being able to add that. But I just wanted to also mention Cyber, that if you want to, it's up to you. But I do have a Leona Mormont clips of her from Game of Thrones off YouTube that I can play like a couple minutes of to show Renee and Jazz what she's like and her character. It's fucking awesome. But either way, Tess is awesome. It sucks to lose her. Great character, right? But what a way to go out, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. And it's just, the whole thing is just really sad, right? It's moving and everything and whatnot. And like I said, I enjoy it. I do find it enjoyable to watch TV like this and movies like this. I do. That do have depressing shit going on, but in a different way than like the joy of like, playing video games or something, right? Basically, for me, I felt like, as far as the clickers go, they're using radar. Like they're using basically a bat type style radar, a sonar. That's what they're doing. That's what the clicking is about. They're emoting a sound to bounce off of other things in order to figure out where things are, and hear things, and see things, or locate things. So, and then of course there is a connection through the fungus out of the ground that does cause them to be able to also almost not hive mind, but they're able to like share that location of their prey with each other, right? because that's all their pure goal is. Well, the minute they get infected, is to spread the infection. That's it. It doesn't matter what stage they're in. That's all they want to do. That's all they're going to do. And so basically, besides that, I just wanted to point out that I think it's good how they handled killing them, right? Like I like how they handled doing it. That that they are able to kill some of them somewhat easily. That other ones are harder. And of course, again, we'll get into the different stages of the infections because some of them get really hard to kill, I believe, down the road. Once they've been infected for a really long time, the fungus will end up becoming almost like an armor for them, and they're a little harder to kill. But I like how they're handling it. I like seeing them. I like the fact that it doesn't make any sense when the humans can't even really have a chance to fight back against shit like this, right? Like if they can't even like have a shot to like even really try to win, or like fucking like have a shot at like fighting back against whatever it is, aliens or monsters, it kind of sucks. So it's nice to see that they gave them the ability to be able to actually fight back, even though they take a toll and they can get hurt and killed and infected. They're able to kill them, and again, I think it kind of makes logical sense too if you understand how the virus works or the infection works. That all it would take probably would be 1 or 2 shots to the head to kind of kill it. If you even want to call it killing it, because all you're doing at that point is killing the human life, not the infection. But either way, Jazz, you got a dip on? Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even said that. I'm talking around in the private chat. But no, basically, I did like, again, I like Ellie's spunk. I think it was what, Jrent or Jazz, somebody that mentioned that. I like her spunk. I do find her funny. I do. I like the actress. I do. I like her a lot. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I've seen her clips in Game of Thrones, and they're scene stealers. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. But no, Bella Ramsey's great. She plays Leona very well. I think the casting so far looks great. We'll see what the rest of the secondary characters end up being like over the span of the rest of the show. But I'm sure they'll probably be pretty solid. I do know that the guy from Deadwood that played I'm trying to think of the name of the character. The actor who was in Deadwood was in the first game and voiced one of the characters. And he was Dan Doherty on Deadwood. He worked for what's his name that owned the bar, the saloon or whatever and whatnot and everything. He was like his hired gun. And he was in the game. He voiced Earl Brown is the name of the actor, W. Earl Brown. And he voiced Bill in the game, which we'll get Bill later in the series. So either way, no, I thought that the action was good. I thought that the swarm was cool to see. It was great to see the actual infection and the aspects of how this all works with them over time and whatnot played out for us. I wonder, in a way, I thought to myself, what people that didn't do any research or whatever and don't understand the infection must think when they see this stuff, like what's going on with it, right? But I definitely got Daredevil vibes with the sonar shit and the radar shit. I was like, oh man, that's like Daredevil, like with the clickers, in a way, right? Kind of. Yeah, I mean, hey, it was sad. It was sad seeing Tess actually be like, hurt by Joel, like backing away from her when upon realizing that she's infected. And I felt like that's some real shit. Like that really gave me some gravity to this whole deal. It's really hard. Just that being infected is so intense that it scares people so much that when you care about somebody even so much or love them, you're like set back or pushed, or like you want to push back when you realize somebody's infected. And she was hurt by it. She was, you could tell. So it wasn't just fucking for her. And I felt that was sad. I did. I thought that was really sad that she had to experience that right before her death. But it is what it is, right? I'm not trying to get all sentimental. The whole like fucking sponge person make out scene with her was dope.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Loki's mom.
Did I fuck you up? What happened?
Yeah, you fucked me up. You fucked me up. Loki's mom, please, your thoughts on it, and then we'll let Jasmine go here. We'll get after Loki's mom, Jasmine, if you want to just give your rating and any final thoughts, and then you can dip. But go ahead, Loki's mom, Birch.
Okay, well, I'll be kind of. I think y'all pretty much said everything. I agree with pretty much all of it, and like Jeff, I appreciate Jasmine because she's bringing like a lot of elements into the that how the story's constructed and then the differences and how she's appreciating how it's being done differently. For obvious reasons, you can't have the exact same story that the video game would be. It kind of wouldn't be fair to the people who already know what the plot is. But anyway, I did like all the one thing that hadn't been mentioned is the green screen. I mean, my goodness, particularly when they got out on out on the rooftops and whatnot, and then you look at it and you see Boston as and destruction where they bombed everything, and and they certainly they had built sets and all that, and most of that's just all green screen that they've done. And then when they get into the Massachusetts State House and they're in the rotunda and everything, and I'm wondering there, Cyber, do you know, did they film inside there actually, or do you think that was a set that was built? Because it looked very authentic to me.
I honestly didn't look it up to see anything about it, but I'm guessing it was probably a set. I don't think they actually filmed in Mass. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anything that they filmed in Massachusetts because I'm only a couple hours above Mass, and usually anytime I hear anything from anybody there, usually I hear people say, "Oh, did you know they filmed this in there?" So I haven't heard anything, so I don't think they did.
Okay, so even so, they did. It was a beautiful set and everything, and like I said, it was set and staged very well. And then the crescendo at the end, the explosion, and Tess is snap, trying to get that, and it just gets worse and worse. And then of course, finally, boom, she manages to do it. And for now, the zombie horde has been stopped, or whatever they are. SpongeBob. SpongeBob's have been stopped. Yeah, the acting is been just wonderful. Ellie, the little kid actor, she's really great. I didn't see her in Game of Thrones, but she can tell she's just a little tough nut, and like I said, she's got that little spark of humor to her. And then Pedro Pascal, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but he's just wonderful. I've just fell in love with him and his he's so handsome. I just he's just got those chiseled features and whatnot. So I'm gonna female gaze on him a little bit. and the other episode, I remember he has a really nice biceps. Maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of Pedro's upper torso. But anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward. It ended well. I mean, the type of ending. Okay, now we can move on and get to the next section, which I think is going to open up more to some different, just based on what we saw in the trailer, aspects of their journey. And I think we're going to get to see the rebel leader. I think we'll see her again because I believe I saw her in the trailer. That she
Marlene.
Yeah, I believe we're going to see her again. So yeah, so that's down the road.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, most definitely. So back to you, Jasmine. Please give us your final your rating and any final thoughts on the episode.
My overall thought for the episode is it's amazing. I think that they did a really good job. I totally forgot about talking about the green screen. Renee, good on you. Their green screen was miraculous. I didn't even realize it was a green screen. I thought it was like practical effects, like they were on like a built set. It was really well done, executed. My overall rating, I would say definitely a 10 out of 10. They did a great job. The writing, the character building, the set, the environment, the immersiveness of it all, it's a 10 out of 10. You guys can follow me on Jazzy Productions on my Twitter. Tomorrow I'm filming for my first video coming back to YouTube. I'm actually thinking of I'm going to be rewatching Scream 1. So
that was for you. That was for you doing your plug before we got a chance to rate the episode.
You're a dork. But you guys can follow me on Twitter. I tweet a lot, so you're gonna love it. And I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Jazz.
Bye.
Bye, Jess.
All right.
All right, Jazz. We love you, but the echo is terrible. So it's not fun. It's almost as bad as SpongeBob.
All right, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob's family there, cousin over there.
All right, Loki's mom. Your rating and your final thoughts, please.
I'm gonna get. We did actually get a chance to rate the first episode, so I'm gonna give both of those. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and kick that one in too. Yeah, I would give the first episode a 9. Really well executed. I mean, it was well over. I think it was almost 90 minutes or so. It was a long episode, so it was so well. I mean, it went by so fast. So I'm going to give that one a 9, and this week's episode I'm going to give it a 8.5.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Jeff, your rating and final thoughts, sir?
I'm going to give the first episode a 9.75, and I'm going to give the second episode an 8.75. And simply just because the first episode was better. It was. Even though it was longer, it was better. I think it was. I felt like it was more impactful. But what are you going to do, right? It's hard to be a second episode, right? You know what I'm saying? It's good to be the second person that gets down by She-Hulk like Cyber, but it's not good to be the second episode. But either way, as far as the episode goes, again, I think Jasmine pretty much did a great job in terms of pointing out the writing's really good. It is. I don't know. I don't want to compare and contrast too much, but I don't think it's as good as Andor's. But hey, different genre, different trope, different show, whatever, right? Totally different deal. But no, they did a good job with the casting, I think. The episode was good. It was fluid. HBO Studios does a good job. For when they give you an hour-long episode, or whatever it actually ends up being that you watch, 50-something minutes or whatever, you're not bored during it. You watch it, you enjoy it, right? For the most part. It's not garbage. And I don't expect them to make bad shows typically. I don't. I never really had any doubts that they would do well with this. So at that point, hats off to them. I mean, I'm just really excited to review the rest of the episodes. Episode 3 is going to be fun.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So for me, I give the first episode a 9 and the second episode a giant 10. I thought both of them were very well done. I really enjoyed them. They are all great. And I think that this is a really good start to this series. And I can't wait to get through all 9 episodes because it is a 9-episode series.
Yes.
All right. So that is it for these reviews, people. We want to thank all those out there in the comment section, those who are there. But of course, as always, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark. As you can see there, here's my YouTube channel. I do all kinds of stuff on there, all kinds of videos, stuff like that, shorts and all that kind of good stuff. I just recently released my Evil Dead Rise trailer reaction. You'll be seeing a couple new trailer reactions here very soon. One for Knock at the Cabin, which is M. Night Shyamalan's newest film coming out in February, and so forth and stuff like that. And as you can see there from my shorts, I've been doing a lot of the Marvel films, revisiting them and stuff like that, and so forth, and all that kind of good stuff. Try to do that pretty much several times a day for those, and the reviews are Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. I put up video releases most weeks. This last week I only put up one for the week, so you'll be seeing more here soon. But yeah, as you can see, I'm up to 523. I want to thank everyone for subscribing. You guys are rocking it. Let's get to that 550 mark, and then 600. That'll be great. 750 as well. So you guys are rocking. Thank you for, like I said, what I said. And if you enjoy my stuff, definitely check that stuff out, people. I'm all over the place. All great. So, all right. So, Loki's mom. Was there anything like to plug about Sakar at all, or anything like that?
Yeah, you just run over to Sakar at sakar.forums.net, and that's where the podcast champions can be picked up at, and they do all kind of review shows. I'm not sure if they're doing The Last of Us, but they've been doing Andor and all the. I'm certainly they're getting ready for the DC big mashup that's getting ready to happen. I think they're going to talk about that within the next week or so. But anyway, yeah, just jump on over, and another group of great guys led by the Grand Master over at Sakar.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. And any final thoughts, Jeff, before we take this out?
No, just hey, that look, this Friday evening at 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:55 p.m. Pacific, we are going to be reviewing the animated DC animated film and the DC animated film DC. Okay, whatever. Superman Doomsday, correct? Cyber Superman
Correct.
Doomsday.
Yep.
And it's our first one ever, and hopefully one of many. And so hey, it should be fun. It's our first time, my first time ever reviewing anything animated besides What If. So I'm looking forward to it. And then Sunday, of course, Renee and I will be together. Renee, of course, is a special guest co-host on the Sunday show with me, and we will be covering a full preview, hopefully a full one. If it's possible, we may not get all the way through a preview of Loki season 2 on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be very impactful because Loki season 2 is very instrumental to what happens with Kang and the next Avengers films. It really is important. So that's it. And then hey, MCU Phase 5, Phase 6 previews every Sunday, all the way to Secret Invasion, hopefully 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Besides that, thank you, Cyber, for being such an awesome moderator and great co-host. And thank you so much, Renee, for being such a great guest, such a great friend.
Thank you.
Yep. And hats off to everybody out there in the fandom and whatnot and everything. Thank you for all the supporters. We appreciate all of you. That's right. And we'll tell you all about our live stream special for our 10K mark soon. Next show.
Yep. All right, people. That is it for this review. And until Friday, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Hey. I said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, across the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you dumb or what? You better